And we are live on whatever the fuck apps. It's saying that we are having trouble streaming to your destination. It's possible the RTMP server URL or stream key is invalid. It's saying that we are having trouble.
Oh wait, I just
streaming to your destination. It's possible.
I was hearing echoes. All right, we'll figure it out another time, man. We'll figure it out. Yeah.
Shabba and welcome to the Fanboy Modeling School. I am one of your endearing, beautiful, handsome hosts, the Fat Mantis, now in HD, and I am here with my boy
Steve, real name, no gimmicks. So happy to be here.
So. Did you hear that, guys? So he's not just kind of happy; he is so effing happy.
So effing happy. And just a little quick announcement, folks. Mantis and I will be testing out a new streaming platform. Don't worry, you don't have to download the app. This isn't for you guys. But if you're catching this on the replay, you can also find us live coming soon on kick.com. Always branching out into new markets, making sure that we're getting the content to the people that enjoy it.
Absolutely, absolutely. And so everything that's going on YouTube, it's funny that like we're starting the stream dissing our platform, but with all the stuff recently going on with YouTube, they're actually increasing the amount of bans and strikes.
Really?
I don't know if you heard Steven Crowder got 3, like he decided, like he's like, you know what, I'll go back to YouTube, it's all right. So he goes back to YouTube. He's here like 2 weeks. In a single day he got 3 strikes.
For what?
You know what it was? Is it built up? Like they didn't strike him when he dropped the videos, and they waited to do it on a single day because I think they just hate him.
Well, yeah, that's very clear that he is not liked on his platform. But it's interesting that Steven Crowder catches so much flack when you have companies like the Daily Wire, who Candace Owens, right? For sure, you would think she would catch a strike a day, but because the Daily Wire knows how to play the game and they have an entire team, I believe, to monitor the algorithms.
I bet they also be tossing money, man. They're greasing somebody's palms.
Oh, you got to. When you're that big, and you got to pay to play, right? You want to say something that you think is impactful and it's a controversial topic or opinion, you got to pay to play.
And that's the thing. Crowder has money, but he's not going to pay. And so
no, he's not. I mean, why should he? I guess his channel seems to be doing extremely well over on Rumble. I've noticed that more YouTubers are dual streaming. Destiny obviously streaming on Rumble today.
Actually, I plan on it. I plan on doing that with Rogue Planet.
Oh, you're gonna so yeah. So look for Fanboy Modeling School on Rumble.
Yeah, we should branch out to other things, other possibilities, create, just in case.
Yeah, no, you got to. You got to.
Rogue Radio says first one in, haha. Then she says hello, Steve Shaolin. What up, brother, man? Matt Cat in the house. Holla at your boy. He says hail to the chat. Hail.
Matt, I'm not always dissing Candace Owens. I think a very, very consistent view on Candace Owens. Some of the things she says is for shock and awe. Other things, she has some really good takes. Like today, she was talking about what's this young lady's name? China Doll. Used to be, I think her name's China Doll. I forget her name, man. But she used to be, she had a baby with Rob Kardashian.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. And, she's going through a whole transformation in her life right now, removed all the Botox and all that stuff and took out the BBL. She took down her OnlyFans page. It says she found Christ. And Candace Owens actually gave her a huge shout out today. Said that she was skeptical about it at first, but she thought it would be inconsistent not to praise her, Black China, thank you, not to praise her and support her in this transformation, getting to a place in her life where she doesn't have to, in her words, sell her body for success any longer.
Right. That's beautiful.
Yeah. I posted in my Discord. I was like, man, that's the nicest thing Candace Owens has ever said about anyone.
Yes. I gotta give a shout out to Ari M in the chat. Says, man, it's been too long. How have you been? This is Ari Official. Ari Official was not only a friend on Spoon, but was a regular when we were on Green Room. Back when Spotify Live called itself Green Room, and Ari was there every morning, brightening the day with jokes and memes and stuff. Good to see you there. Thank you. I hope you stay for the show. And if you can't, that's cool too. Even if you're just dropping in to say hi, I love you, darling. Princess Bex is in the house, giving her hashtag fangirls for fanboys. Love it. Good evening, folks, says Shaolin Iceboxer. What else we got going on? Candace is the real deal. She says it like it is and isn't nice about it. Yeah, that's apparently that's how you make it on the internet.
Well, yeah. And my issue with Candace Owens has always been this, and I'll always be consistent, man, in regards to this. She says it like it is, but she's had some bad takes, right? And getting her to be accountable for some of her bad takes, she's never going to do it because it's it goes against her brand, right? You know, she's supposed to be unapologetic, but she's not really. You know, there's some things she said where I'm just like, Candace, you probably should have done some more research before
But
you said
here's the
that.
thing, it's not just her. I find everyone has a bad take. I don't think there's any content creator that I love all their takes. And I
Mhm.
think when people, if somebody who's like, no, they're always right, they're always on point, I think that's suspect. They're
Yeah.
either lying to themselves or to me.
Yeah, no, and that's the thing, but I don't think disagreeing with a person's takes mean you don't like them. If I didn't like Candace Owens, I would outright say it. But she's had some bad takes in regards to Donald Trump. You know, she was a shill for Donald Trump for many moons, and she, you know, as someone that I thought was like this really staunch conservative, like Christian conservative, which I think those are two entirely different things.
Mhm.
You know, she's waffled on it, right? She's waffled and allowed Trump to get away with some stuff in the past and excused it. She was an apologist for him, but at least she remained consistent in that point. You know,
That's with
up until-
anyone with an identity,
Mhm.
you know, a label attached to them, it's the start of corruption.
Yeah,
Because you'll
yeah,
start looking the other way at the stupid things other members of that identity do
right.
and covering and stuff. Ari says she's going to stay the night. She wants to see us stream. Excellent.
Hey, we appreciate you, Ari.
Metsia says, any of you guys see D&D? I did see D&D.
Oh, you
My
saw it.
my review is going up tomorrow evening. I will say I enjoyed it. I'm giving it a thumbs up.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. Who paid you to say that?
Sorry for all the clearing on the throat. No, honestly, I thought it was going to be corporate BS, and I got to tell you, it's not the greatest movie in the world, but it
Right.
was a fun little movie.
Yeah, no, I've seen some positive reviews about it. Obviously, you know, I'm not paying to see that, so I'll just watch your review and get what I need to see out of it. But I've heard some positive things. I do want to go see John Wick 4. Hearing great things about John Wick 4, not hearing great takes about the Blue Beetle trailer.
I'm gonna agree. I'm gonna actually agree with a lot of the people there. It looks
Mhm.
really cheap.
Yeah.
And I remember somebody said, "Oh, before the trailer dropped, a lot of people were like, yo, you got to check out the costume." And the costume has such potential to be
Right.
really cool. And then when I saw it on the film, I was like, that looks like something you get at Party City. Like it's just such a rubbery
Yeah.
yeah.
Real quick, shout out to the Pink Princess Bex. We were over on Spoon celebrating her birthday last night. Stream got a little crazy.
Got wild.
Wow. Did you have a good time?
Oh no, I had a great time. I love that. Shellin says it. She's an awful hypocrite after what happened last week. I don't know what her take on it was, but we're talking about
Yeah, I
Candace.
didn't see it.
That says I've never had a bad take. I'm practically perfect. Bax also jumps on the bad takes. Me never. But Blue Beetle looks good. I'm excited. It looks a little CW to me. I don't know. What do you think?
I was not moved at all by watching the trailer.
It kind of reminds me of Shazam.
Yeah,
Very family friendly, very kiddie.
Yeah. Poor Shazam too. They need a scapegoat, right? They're blaming it on The Rock. Somehow The Rock not allowing Shazam to be in the end credits of his movie, like ruined this movie. And I'm just like,
Yes,
knock it off, dude. The movie's
just accept it, man. That's the thing. I actually thought that Zachary Levi was like a cool guy, but in the last couple of weeks, he's just been a freaking idiot.
bad. Yeah. Well, you got it's the age of the spin, right? When your project fails, you got to find a way to blame it on someone, right? It's this person's fault. It's that fault. The dinosaurs came back. We'll talk about bad dinosaur movies in a second here. But,
not the Party City and CW comments is already.
Yes, 100%. But yeah, you know, I wasn't a big Blue Beetle fan in the comics. You know, I like the lore and the origin, but that's one of those things where I watch a video when I want to see something about Blue Beetle. I'm not going out buying any publications. I'm not buying any books, nothing like that.
So Shallon says a progressive YouTuber tweeted about the Tennessee shooter, and she went after his sponsors directly. Dude's money is drying up, and he may need to close up shop. But she's against cancel culture. Yes. Okay. So
Yeah.
I admit she goes there, and like I said, remember when she was fighting with a blonde comedian? What was the girl? Nicole Arbor.
Okay.
And so Nicole Arbor said she had said a bunch of things, and then she had recorded it. Candace Owens had recorded it, and
Oh,
she
right.
proved all publicly that, Nicole Arbor is a psychopath. There's something
Yeah.
wrong with her. She's always in the drama. She's always starting fights. It
Right.
proved that Candace Owens wasn't the bad guy. She was the bad guy.
Right.
However, it makes you think, who's recording phone conversations? Like, what kind of fucked up person does that?
Well, here's the thing though. When you're in this content creation world, stay paranoid. Don't stay woke. Stay paranoid. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, so I should start recording our phone conversations.
I already record our phone conversations. But here's the crazy thing about that, to the point that Shaolin made about Candace and the cancel culture. I think that is a great demonstration of inconsistency, right? If you're against something, you're against it, even when it comes up against you and your enemies, right?
Yeah.
So there's no reason to demonetize. Exposing someone is that's one thing, but just because you disagree with someone's stance, you get them deplatformed, you get them demonetized. It's like it's taking it too far. It's taking it too far. In fact, if more people would have pushed for her backing up Kanye, she could have been on the same page. But we saw she conceded and she bent the knee. She had to say something to differentiate herself from some of the wild things that Kanye was saying.
Oh man. So
about the people group who cannot be criticized in any way, shape, or form on the internet.
You heard what he said this week, right?
What did he say?
He said, "I was watching Superbad from 2012, and after watching Seth Rogen, I realized that people group are good people, and I shouldn't have been their enemy. That they're all right in my book." And I'm like thinking, like, because you saw a comedy from 2012,
well, it's like the trifecta. You have Seth Rogen, Jonah Hill, right? And it was actually, I believe he was referring to Jonah Hill, who I did not know was
it was Jonah Hill. You're right.
I didn't know he was Jewish, but again, that's just an example of that type of stuff, man. And yeah, you gotta be consistent when you prop yourself up as a moral figure. That's why me and Mantis go through great pains to say, hey, whoa, do not do what we do at home.
Oh yeah, please don't ever be like me, and definitely don't be like Steve. But you know what the hardest thing in the world is?
What?
To be a free speech absolutist. And so I'm almost an absolute. I'm pretty far down the thing, and all the time there are things that I'm like, I think are like reprehensible and need to be banned, and I'm like, no, I believe in freedom of speech.
Right.
And so but you got to do it. The thing is, you got to be consistent. You have to have those views, even when your enemies say stuff.
Yeah,
you have to. Yeah,
it's a good point. So what are we talking about tonight, man? What's the topics?
Well, I think we have a lot of baby topics, so I think we're gonna have a very long honorable mentions this time. Right. Rogue Radio says, "Don't mention Nicole." When you get to the Bob, yes, the Bob Iger investor call. Do you have clips? Because I missed it, and I'm excited to find out and hear them. I don't have clips. I don't know if somebody recorded that. I would love it if somebody put it on.
Yeah, I'm not up to speed on this at all. When I saw it, I was like, all right, I guess I'll just go into this one cold to hear what happened, man. But I would love to see who criticized him on the investor call.
So basically, the investor call is public. Anyone can go. And so for those who don't know, Disney, I think it's 3 times a year, they have an open investor call. The only people who can speak are actual investors, people who have a bunch of stocks. But anyone can go, and you go to their website, and it's crude. It's just audio. It's bad audio. Like, they're not mic'd up or anything. They're literally on sitting around, a call or whatever. And the investors get to ask questions, and they started hammering the crap out of him about all the political stuff.
Oh, okay. Let's jump right into it.
Yeah, and so they're like, "How dare you?" They're like, "How dare you, sir? What's your problem?" And all this stuff. And he had to keep holding his ground. He was very respectful.
Right.
But they were getting angry at him. So the investors, it would appear, at least the very loud ones, are pissed that Disney entered into this whole political fight with the state of Florida.
Oh, okay. So I was wondering where you were going. I was wondering if this was they were giving him a hard time, or there was some dissension in regard to the recent hires and stuff like that. But this is the fact that something that happened while he wasn't even there.
Right.
Well, I mean, okay, didn't he already kind of head off the pass and say, hey, we got to get some of these people out of here? We got to deal with this narrative that we're fighting against and fighting for certain issues and fighting against Florida on certain issues. Okay. So I wonder I wish I could hear audio of this because that doesn't seem like something that should be for public consumption, right? Like he's trying to protect your money, right? Trying to make sure they don't lose their sovereignty in Florida. Actually, I don't know that. I don't know how far he's gotten into that process. But
Oh, we should also talk about that too, because that's an interesting ball of worms. Is it ball of worms? I don't know the thing, but it's funny for starters. Ari says Mantis is my role model, always and forever. There we
it's a
go.
bad move.
Says you guys keep trying to ruin creators. I like. Yes, we do. But so here's what I think the investors meant what they said.
Okay.
I think that they did not like what Disney did, and because he's the CEO, this is their chance to be like, we have to put him over the coals, even though he's not the one who did it.
Right.
But we have to just let Disney know we do not like that this happened.
Right.
And I'm sure they know he was. I don't think they're that ignorant, because the people who are on the call are like the heavy hitter investors. They've got a ton of stock.
Yeah.
So here's the whole thing. So Disney publicly said, because they're agitating Florida right now. So Disney publicly made it look like they sunned up Florida.
Okay.
Have you heard about this whole King Charles descendants clause?
No. What's that?
So you know how Reedy Creek, the place where Disney World is, Ron DeSantis was like, we are taking the power away. You're not your own nation anymore. We're now going to control all sorts of things, and you're subject to normal laws and tax codes that other people have. So right before the new council comes to take over that area, the old council wants to do one last bill, changing a power bill. And in it, they say Disney will control the property until the last descendant of King Charles III, 21 years after the last descendant of King Charles III passes. And so they approved it.
What?
Yeah, and then Disney put this out on every media. They were like, look, we beat Florida. We sunned them up. Turns out that's not legal. But using a phrase like that is not legal, apparently. And so and people are saying, well, Disney lawyers knew this. This is a publicity stunt. They're trying to make it look like they're not losing their power. It's really weird.
Yeah, that's strange. What exactly does King Charles and his descendants have to do with anything that's going on in American politics?
It's totally insane. What I think it is that for contracts and stuff. Well, for starters, you should have a team of lawyers that read thoroughly every goddamn word of a contract.
Yeah, and then let your publicist read it, right?
But a lot of times, if people want to be lazy, this is what the state of Florida was probably doing, and Disney caught on to this. You have your computer search out words on the document.
Right.
And one of the things you can have your computer do is search out numbers.
Right.
And so they're looking for length of time, blah, 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 blah. And so they use that weird language so that a lawyer who looked at it would kind of brush over it.
Okay.
King Charles III, blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? Kind of like.
Oh, okay. I get you. That is bizarre. One of the most bizarre maneuvers I've ever heard before. It sounds like something a YouTuber would do. It sounds like an argument that someone in those spoon political groups would make.
Oh yeah, or like a teenager or someone who's mentally ill, not a multi-billion-dollar corporation.
That's absolutely insane. Matt, actually, if you go back up, Matt made a very valid point. He said, no, Bob Iger set all this in motion and then left and then came back and blamed everything on Chapek. Iger was in leadership when these bad decisions were put into motion.
I think
Iger and Disney can suck it.
I actually do agree with a lot of what Matt says. There's no way he hasn't been gone that long, Iger.
Right.
It can't all be Chapek.
But here's the thing, right? Even with that taken into consideration, see, this is where I think we got to let people fall on their sword, right? Okay. You step into a company, right? You've set policy into play. You were the previous CEO. I step into the company after, your 3 weeks of, shadowing me and making sure I know where the water machine is and the executive dining hall and where the golden swans are, stuff like that, right? And then when you step out, right, that's my opportunity. And of course, I don't run a multi-billion-dollar company, nor do I run a country, but that's my chance to step in, look at policies, right, and start going, hey, is this the best thing for my investors and for the business overall? And then if you make a decision like, yeah, we're going to keep going on this course, guess who gets to fall on that sword? You had the opportunity to course correct. You had the opportunity to reprimand that young lady that went up there speaking about sneaking certain agendas into the overall, distribution of your product.
Yeah.
You had that opportunity to do that. And then you doubled down. You doubled down on it. So shame on you, fall on your sword. Don't pull a Trump, Obama, and every president since the first president. Well, with the previous administration.
That is constant. I cannot stand when somebody says that, because they haven't learned yet that that's just a distraction tactic. But like actual adults make that argument. They're like, it looks like the current president did it, but it was really the last guy. And they've been saying that my entire life. It's always some other motherfucker's fault as to why your country's falling apart.
Just take account. All right, so they, the investors screamed at him. I think this was probably. I'm trying to look and see if there was some type of agenda for them to do this publicly, for some social capital or some social clout. And if it was done for that, who were they doing it for? Right.
Well, here's what I'm saying. So obviously it's the big investors having conversation, and they make it public. So the little investors, let's say you're a guy who's like, I have 10 shares, that's nothing. But so that they're trying to make you feel better about your investment, right? That everything's safe. And so I think you're right. It could have been theater where they're like, we're mad at you for being political. And then he's Bob Iger. He doesn't say this, but people will feel better. They're like, okay, the other investors are giving him hell for being political.
Right.
I'm not going to sell my shares.
Right.
I'm not going to dump my stock. Rogue Radio says read everything, especially when you're signing contracts at work.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I was on a job once, or I got offered a job while I was working in California to go over to the UK and work for a UK company. And so my wife's friend actually read the contract that was being presented, and I was like, I'm not signing this. Like, I'm not signing any of this.
It had sneaky shit in it.
Yeah, there was it was standard business practices, but it didn't align with what I needed from them as a company. And I was just like, no, I'm good. Thank you for the offer.
Yeah,
I'm all right.
The only time I don't read everything is when I'm reading aloud the comments.
Yeah.
I swear to I make you guys all the promise that when you leave a chat and I'm reading it aloud, I'm gonna buzz it. Major buzz points. Matt's angry.
I've seen you butcher some comments before, and I'm just like, that's
because I don't have time to read all these words, man. I'm on a stream. Man, I can't handle all this spoon talk. I still have no clue what that is, except that one fat girl.
Okay. So this, go ahead. I'm sorry.
It also says you could run a Fortune 500. Steve, I believe in you. Plus, I'll take a job. Yes. I'm gonna hire you and
put you ahead of the diversity hiring department.
You can be the new Victoria Alonso. Marie Antoinette them and business. It seems like they are walking on eggshells and act like it's nothing. Right. Let them eat cake, as she is known for saying. FEMA funded the company I work at during COVID. I read everything.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. So not really that sexy of a topic, but it does lead us, since we're talking about business. And let me, you're right. We had a bunch of little short topics. So let's get into some honorable mentions. Man, shit's still going bad over at No Jumper. Gina Views, a very popular underground hip-hop host, right? I want to give her all the flowers. Like, she's really tapped into the hip-hop culture in LA and abroad, right? She's a great commentator on hip-hop. Interesting young lady, and I mean that with the utmost respect. After the last thing that happened where Destiny was on a panel over on No Jumper, and he made a comment about Adam being the slave owner. Adam was like, you thought I was black when you were coming over, and he was like, yeah, and then I found out you were the slave owner. That didn't go over well in the internet, and Gina Views just departed from there today. They also fired one of the young lady. I don't know what she did there. I wish I knew, but it's a very public firing. Not public firing, but she stepped away and got let go from the company. So I've been all week, this past week, I've been looking at their views to see how the allegations have been impacting him. The split from AD and T-Rail, and basically Fig Munity, the guys that people would come to watch the show for. And I'm seeing like the lowest views I've ever seen on that channel. There's one video that's been up for 7 days that has 38,000 views. Now, we would absolutely murder an entire nation to get 38,000 views. I'd wipe out a whole zip code if that's what.
Oh yeah, no question. No.
But for a large channel like that has overhead, owning a studio, multiple room studio with recording booths, multiple cameras, multiple mixers, electric bills, security, right? There's a lot of overhead that has to be paid. I'm looking at this, man. I'm just going, wow, how the mighty have fallen. When we left Spoon to go to Green Room, we had a private conversation about, some business stuff, the longevity of our channels. And, we've gone through our ups and downs. We've taken some stances that have cost us fans, that have brought us fans in. But could you imagine being Adam right now, looking at this machine and the view count, the thing you require, I'm saying it's not the most important thing, but in regards to the connection to the general populace, to see the view count that low. Now, don't get me wrong, they still have their Patreon. He has his personal Patreon where he does stuff, I guess, with his wife, a lot of the plug, called Plug Talk, where he basically, they interview a porn star and then have coitus on Patreon and OnlyFans. So I'm sure he's still making bread, but I wonder what the state of the channel is. Your thoughts?
Okay, so first I want to point out that Matt said, I'm right there with you, Steve. Who do I need to jerk off to get 38K views? I'm with you too, man. I'm with you too. I've been practicing that stroke. Here's the whole thing.
Right.
I understand you because that's a paycheck. You're losing a paycheck. You're losing money, right? And that was the ultimate, when everyone's always like, why are you so bent out when Spoon closed down the originals? And I was like, because their bad choice is costing me money.
Right.
That's no one likes to see that. However, I kind of loathe the day that I would ever be obsessed with numbers. Like the other day, I think I saw the quartering. He made a tweet that he said, after that joke I made about Steven Crowder, not Tim Crowder, Tim Pool. It's like, he made some joke about Tim Pool. He's like, I lost 90 subscribers. They told me they were angry and they left. And I'm like, you have almost 2 million subscribers. Yeah. Who the hell cares if 90 of them got up and walked out?
It's true, man.
But they're obsessed with the numbers. Because
well, see, in his situation, I have to believe it's different. It appears to me that he is filming from a room in his house. Now, I don't know what his overhead is, right? But it doesn't seem like he has multiple employees. Like the revenue.
He's like an editor and maybe like a meme. Not a meme, but a cover guy.
Yeah, like
maybe that he does. You're right. He doesn't have most of these guys. Like Tim Pool has an entire studio too. Yeah, staff. All these guys have staff. I doubt the quartering does. He's definitely trying to keep it on the cheap.
and here's the thing, right? And I get it when you're a conservative social commentator. I can see how you would have to be very conscious of your subscriber count, and I'm guessing other things, because you're not going to get ad revenue. I assume that most of these guys are not making any money from ad revenue, and some of them are. But when you have this entire machine you've built up and it's crumbling, like right now, I'm actually looking at the No Jumper thing. So we got a video they dropped 5 hours ago about Drake. 29K. We got an official interview that dropped 6 hours ago. Adam 22. Is
that about Rescue Me, the song Rescue Me, the Drake song?
No, Drake renting out his home studio for $250K.
Okay.
And then we got Adam's interviewing someone. It looks like this is a full video. Yeah, it's 5.8K. Then I went back to look at what their videos from last week were doing, and it's low. The numbers are low, but I'm guessing.
Here's one thing I got to say about them though.
Yeah.
Here's why I don't really watch No Jumper. Like I see them come up in my feed. I used to watch their videos. I don't really watch it anymore. It's because of all this drama. It's because of all these guys leaving. I don't want to be like, you don't drama's fun. But drama to the point where your own boys want to punch you out, storming out of the studio, that I don't want to see. And I think that's hurting me. You just told me another person left. I'm like, who needs this?
Yeah, but then the crazy thing is, man, to be in a place, Okay, let me not mince my words, man. I could not imagine. I can imagine fumbling the bag off of $60 on Spoon, right? Or I think the most I ever got from Spoon was like $220. I cannot imagine fumbling the bag when we're talking about millions. Now, does that mean that this show is going to completely shut down? No, people used to think that same thing about Joe Budden when he famously had that very public split from his two co-hosts from the Joe Budden podcast. But Joe Budden's gone on to be okay. He survived the separation from Spotify. You know, he's definitely doing great when it comes to podcast marketing, like on YouTube and Apple Podcasts. Like he's killing it right now, man. But I don't think Adam has. I don't know if they're going to be able to bounce back from this. And it's just a cautionary tale, man. And it's the same thing I said about just Pearly things because, man, she's going through it right now, bro.
But like you said, she's probably going to survive like a lot of these people survive.
Yeah,
it's
hopefully
just, you have hard times where you're unpopular, and then you have other times when you're popular.
Yeah, it only takes one good video and one good take to get people back on. But just Pearly things just had a former employee, someone that used to create content, come out and say some things, public things about her. I didn't research it, didn't need to get into that. But then she copyright struck the entire channel, and that guy's content got removed. Everything on his channel.
Oh, and I'm sure general public hates her for that.
Yes.
Yo, you know what's funny? Literally, when we turned off our stream last week about just Fairly things, literally in my feed, do you know who Anthony Brian Logan is?
Yes.
Conservative black man. He had a video about just Fairly things, talking shit about her the entire time.
Yeah, she not. I mean, as Star would say, they're smoking on a Pearly pack right now. The streets got to eat. They're picking the bones of just Pearly, you know. And she has become the point of content, and it's started this insane conversation.
So Shaolin wants to know what did Pearly do? So Pearly had Nick Fuentes on, and so when he was on, she did something which is also antithetical in my opinion to what her whole stance is. And so we actually covered this last week, but like she became like the submissive female and was like placating him. Like he was saying racist crazy things and she wasn't shutting him down. She was like, but don't you think? And she was being all light about it. Right. Now this has become people were so angry at the video, she deleted it, right? So it was a wasted interview. However, people, because of this, I've heard of like associating with a racist, people are pointing out all the other racist subtle things she does.
Oh, okay.
Like call her crew my Africans, and her crew are black people. Right. And so, and she's like they're from South Africa, and they're like, but still, you're like a white girl. Like, why are you saying that? And like, so people are just pointing out all these things. Or people are pointing out that like they're like, you think because you date a black guy, you can just make all this content about black issues,
right? Yeah, so that's kind of like the broad stroke thing. Here's the thing, right? So Pearl is a part of a community called she is a participator, commentator on the Red Pill community, traditional values, et cetera. And she does employ a lot of Nigerians and other people from the continent of Africa at her channel. And so she's kind of in the same position that Adam 22 is in, where it's like, why would you bring a guy like Nick Fuentes on and not be prepared to refute his points? Like, you're supposed to bring him on and have a conversation, but if he's wrong, you press back on it. And Pearly has folded before under conversation, in conversation. Like when she had Destiny on, she took a huge L in that Destiny conversation. One, you have to be ready to meet a guy like Destiny right where he's at, man, because he talks really freaking fast. He is very well read on any subject that he's going to talk about. He does not come unprepared. And she kind of has this approach to things. She's like, yeah, I don't know. Now, when Pearly's on the attack, when she's attacking or when she's trying to refute modern women and their belief system, she does really well. When she's dealing with people who aren't very well read and versed in discourse, right? And it's the same thing I used to say about Crowder when he was but when he was talking to these kids on the college campuses. I'm like, of course you're sunning these kids up, man.
Right.
Like, you got to go.
These kids don't have two brain cells to share amongst themselves.
Exactly.
So of course, yeah.
See, I could send you a video. It was actually not. It was one guy from her job that she formerly employed. I don't think that's who she took down. It was a dude named Tommy Sotomayor, who is also an OG in the Black Manosphere community. So it's just going crazy, and that's not just the only thing that's going crazy on the internet right now, Mantis. We can't even play this video. We would have to label it a fanboy after dark and do it on Rumble. But do you know who Charleston White is?
No.
Oh my goodness. Charleston White is a character, king troll on the internet, who has been coming up in the world recently, man. He says a lot of wild stuff, but recently he has said some of the wildest shit I've heard on the internet. He had for some reason or another, he started speaking about graping Asian women and Asian babies, right?
Okay. So why do we give these people platforms? And what I mean by us is that people, even for shock value, we shouldn't watch people like that,
right?
Because we are platforming him. The problem is that's what it is. The people who hate him, I'm assuming, are tuning in because that's what always happens.
Well, it's the people who hate him and the people that support him. But But wait, it gets worse. Then a clip reemerged from him being on the Fresh and Fit podcast where he talks about when he was a younger man that they would grape him and his homeboys would grape white women or girls when they came over, like they would run a choo-choo on them. And he goes into explicit detail about how they would put a certain substance that Pookie from New Jack City smoked in their cigarettes. And then he goes on to try to normalize it, doubles down after Abba and Preach confront him about it. Like they make a video exposing hey, this guy's admitting to grape right now. Then he comes back, does a live where he's basically like, nobody cares that I committed grape. I committed grape. I don't care. Tupac did it. Mike Tyson did it. Charles Barkley did it. No one cares that I committed grape and I got away with it.
Truly disgusting person. But yes, what about him?
And it's so crazy. And he's doubling down, man.
Blowing up. He's blowing up.
He already blew up. And it's like people are still defending him. Like his fans are like, he's just trolling. And I know you, and this is where I'm going to land it. You are a huge proponent of free speech. You hear this type of stuff going on the internet. What are your thoughts, man?
So, I think he should be able to say it. And I think there should be apps that allow it. I understand why mainstream apps like YouTube and I bet you Rumble wouldn't even let that slide. Right?
I don't know.
I don't know, but I can understand why they're like, yeah, you can say it, but not on our platform. I dig that. You know what I'm saying? I think I don't think it should be legally stopped from saying it. I do think it's degenerate because you never know if it's true. Because he could just be saying this is going to get me hits. This is going to get me attention.
Yeah, this is going to get me the most clicks and stuff like that. And so it's just been a wild week on YouTube, man. I'm almost exhausted looking at all the stuff that's going on. And I'm like, it's so interesting who they choose to deplatform and who they don't deplatform. So Crowder caught 3 strikes just stepping out of the dugout. Yeah. Right?
And so
Charles the thing is over here getting lit.
He got them for literally doing stuff that Daily Wire does all the time.
Right.
And and so he basically was making a bunch of comments about the shooter.
Okay.
And they were like, no, this is wrong, this is bad or whatever. And so a lot of his videos on the shooter, on the Tennessee shooter, got him strikes. But I feel like the Daily Wire are constantly attacking the trans community. So how do they not get strikes?
That's an interesting word.
Brett Cooper has made a career on attacking the trans community.
So would you qualify as an attack, like an offensive, outright attack, or do you leave it in the realm of commentating?
Okay, here's what I'm saying. Here's what I consider an attack, and we all do it. I think we do it, right? You're minding your own business. You're like, la 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 la. I'm a content creator, and then I open up my thing and I see somebody's made a video that they say the fat mantis is a fat drunk pedo. That's an attack, right?
Right.
So you're minding your own business, and they hardcore are shutting down. I understand that it's fine, it's debating, but I think it's fair to call that an attack.
I see. I think those are 2 entirely different things you just described. If unprovoked, someone just makes a video about and they're refuting your points, then I don't think they're attacking you. They're like, hey, Mantis said this on the 23rd of May 2021, and this is where I think he's in error. That's not an attack, and I'm going to show you how he's in error in these points, and they're just refuting your points. I think if you make a claim on the internet and someone refutes it, that's not an attack. Now, if someone spends their entire day just using ad hominem to make videos about you, yes, that's an attack. I think that's an attack.
So I'll give you an example. Like, for instance, that's funny. This person is on our cover, Dylan Mulvaney. You know who Dylan Mulvaney is?
Oh, who the hell is Dylan Mulvaney, man?
Well, they're now a Bud Light sponsor.
Oh, I know who it is.
Yeah.
I'm a girl.
I'm a girl. Day 235 of being a girl. I'm trying the tampon on, and you're like, what? For instance, Brett Cooper loves to go ham on her.
Okay.
And so she'll show a Dylan Mulvaney video and then be like, this girl is a total psycho. And just start slamming her. And I'm like, that is an attack. I think that is an attack.
Okay, so let me see. I gotta refamiliarize myself with Brett Cooper. Who is Brett Cooper? Oh, Brett Cooper is a young lady. So wait, see, no, okay, now this is where we get into an interesting place, man, because has she called her any derogatory
no, I don't think she ever actually hits derogatory.
Okay.
Matt says I'm on Pearl's side. Ari says Spoon is an app, a podcast / radio stream yourself station. Nick Fuentes, what a douche, says Matt.
Agreed.
And they were gonna go after Crowder no matter what. Yes,
100%. 100%.
I guess this half Asian lawyer isn't working that hard.
What happened to that guy? Is that guy still on the show? He's so interesting. You just sit there.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess we'd have to go to Rumble to see what's up. But in a perfect world, I couldn't go to Rumble and make money. But honestly, only the hugest creators are making money over there. And like my only hope is the app we're on right now.
It's crazy, man, because I was over on Rumble and I checked out the Destiny stream, had a lot of people in there, a lot of retention. People have a hard time hitting that like button. I don't know what that's about. You would think that you get charged every time you hit the like button, but the lead attorney, who's wildly popular over on this platform, streamed over there. Thousands of people watched the stream. 85 of them liked it, and it's that type of stuff where it's like, well, this is not really a problem from us, we don't have hundreds of thousands of people, but it's like, come on, bro, just hit the like button. What's wrong with you? But we'll see. But it's crazy to see what's going on in regards to content creation. Sometimes I worry that the bubble is going to bust under this whole new media spin, that wave that we're in right now, and eventually we're all just going to go back analog, listening to the radio and watching the regular news, and this whole thing will fall through. Because how can it? It seems like the people who are running the ship are just completely committed to suppressing anything new, getting rid of anything that's too controversial. And it's like, well, why'd you start this? The original creator of YouTube, I wonder if we talked to that guy. He's kind of a psychopath. Like, would he have? I
don't even know who he is. Who is this dude?
Oh man, let me look this guy.
I bet he's a pervert.
What the hell? Entertain the folks. I'll be right back.
All right. So let's check out what's going on over in our chat. And so Matt was talking about the whole Crowder situation, and it is horrible how they're like targeting all these people, and basically if they don't like what you're about, they will shut you down. They'll make sure you don't make any money. They don't want to see you make any money on YouTube. So that's the question for a creator. I definitely have wrong think. I'm gonna tell you, on certain subject matter, I have wrong think, which means it's only a matter of time before I mention something in my video about that, and then therefore YouTube is going to be like, I don't like this guy, let's go after him.
Right. And do you still think you're shadow banned?
My numbers are getting, ever since I hit 500, my numbers are doing way better. It's like they put me in, I hit like another level or something in the algorithm. But yes, I do. Honestly, I think I should have about a million subs by now, and so I only have like 5 and change. So
the original founders of YouTube are Steve Chin, Chad Hurley, and Jawed Kareem. And I wonder, before they sold it to Google, what their original intention was for this platform, right? And it's just fascinating. But this is boring at this point, because Shaolin Iceboxer dropped some real spicy shit in the chat right there.
Yes, and so I love this. This is one of those events that makes YouTuber X lose You go to Social Blade and you see that she's lost a bunch of subs, and she always does this. She puts her foot in her mouth. She loses thousands of subs, and she never is able to hit 1 million because this happens multiple times a year.
Well, what happened? What the hell happened?
She said, one of my sources tells me that they're about to cast Superman. And then so James Gunn eventually chimes in, and he's just like, he never talks directly to Grace. He hits up people who retweet her.
Okay.
And then he's like, this is absolutely a lie. We have a short list. I don't even have a casting director yet. We are not close. And then Grace says, whatever. She spits this idea that he's lying, that he's trying to manipulate people. She knows better. And then she said, I think his name was like Logan Lerman. She was like, I think, and she's like, I hear that it's really Logan Lerman. And then he responds, James Gunn goes, for the record, I have no idea who that is. And so, of course, everyone in Twitter land starts chiming in, and they're tweeting things like, what an ass she is for, like, how dare you argue with somebody who is the person? You know what I'm saying? It's like someone has a rumor about you.
No, okay. Well, let me ask you a question, right? Is there a part of this where Grace Randolph could be just a truth teller, right? Could she be this amazing truth teller that it's just telling us things that we don't want to hear? What if she's right about all of this? What if she's right about Pedro Pascal? What if she's right about James Gunn? Maybe she has close sources. Or is it more likely that someone... I think James Gunn himself is trolling her. I think he knows who her source is, and he's like, he just
he's feeding him the wrong information. That would be, I would love that. That would be brilliant.
It's absolutely amazing, man. It's absolutely amazing.
I would say, what do you think of the possibilities that Satan is really the good guy and God is really the bad guy?
I don't believe it at all. And I had someone try to sell me on that one day, and I had to sit back. You know when someone says something so fucking crazy, you just lean back in your chair like, okay, let's see where this goes. So,
yeah, you want to hear where it goes. But obviously, I would say the same likelihood of that being true is the likelihood that Grace is always right and the system's screwing her. I think it's more likely that she knows a janitor in Warner Brothers, and he has paper thin information. Lainey, welcome into the stream.
What's up, lady?
That says, see, I'm a First Amendment absolutist. I think you should be able to say whatever you want, and the public will decide if they want to listen. I agree with that.
That's the truth. That's the truth. Leave it to the market. I'm looking for the tweets itself. Oh shit! Is there going to be a Moana too? Holy shit!
No, live action, and Dwayne The Rock Johnson's going to do his live action self.
I don't want that at all.
I don't want most of these live actions. They've become a train wreck because they go out like it. Yeah, the thing I don't like about YouTuber X is when she says, it's because I'm a woman. It's like, get the F out of here. Yeah. And that's what she always blames. Yeah. It's a conspiracy against her because she's a woman. And that's why they won't let her make her scoops.
Well, okay, then why did he go after Den of Nerds? Right? He's not a woman. I don't think that guy checks any box for any allyship or any. He's not covered by anything.
So let me ask you, do you consider Campia a scooper?
No, I don't consider Campy a scooper. He's actually just someone that, he was an industry insider, and then he just went another way. You remember he used to do the shit for AMC online,
right?
Panel talks. Like, he's someone that's plugged in. I don't consider him a scooper at all.
But I'm saying he never has the same information as her. She's the only one who has this magic information that, if you notice, almost never pans out.
What the hell is Bex talking about? It doesn't matter if you want it, Steve. What, Bex?
What did she say? It doesn't matter.
No, but look, yeah, that's a very, very valid point, man. Like, Campia, when he does report on scoops, always says, I can't verify this. I don't know if this is true. This is just something running around the internet. And he's openly said, when people say from their reliable sources and this, he's like, it's usually bullshit. It's usually like complete nonsense. But Grace stands on like 10 toes down, and she's like, no, this is what happened. And I'm just like, okay, at this point, we need the source. I mean, I know you don't want to get this person fired, but it's your credibility.
That's the convenient thing about Scooper. They can say, I can't tell you who my source is. I'm like, isn't that freaking convenient?
Yeah, and then if it lands their way, they're like, and I was the one who told you. Remember, it was me. I'm like, well, okay.
What about all the times they were wrong? So Matt will always swear that he thinks the Pedro Pascal thing was correct on
Right.
Manda season 2. I don't see any evidence of it. I would need evidence, but what she said would happen did not happen.
Right.
So that's all I have to say about that. Ari says I also agree with that. But can we talk about the surge of censorship? Yeah. It's become almost popular to censor people.
I have a theory about that in regards to censorship. I think that it mostly has to do with people's inability to stand against the points that they don't like, right? And it seems like people lack the ability to refute these things thoroughly. Like, again, the Nick Fuentes, the Dave Spencer thing, you bring someone like that on your podcast, you have to be ready to go toe for toe with them in the comments that they're making. You can't fucking go bashful and just be like, oh, yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah, slaves.
You're saying you can't go pearly. You can't go pearly.
You can't do it. You can't do it. You can't do it. But interestingly enough, I want to get back to YouTuber X, man. So you're right. You've brought this up before. She's not at 1 million. And for someone that's like an OG on this platform, you would have thought she would be at least 2.5 or something like that.
So I'll give you an example. I've only been really monitoring her numbers. I only discovered Social Blade like last year. So I've been only about a year. I've been monitoring, but like all the YouTubers, I look at their trends because it'll actually show you the graph. Social Blade.
Yeah, no.
We'll show you the graph of how often they got. Because first I was seeing it myself, and I was like, wait a minute, I could look up other people's shit.
Yeah.
If you look at hers, she's always in like the 930. She's been stuck in the 930s and 940s of hundreds of thousands of subs for this entire time. And every time she gets high, she always takes a big fall, which I notice a lot of these other people do not take these falls. And it's always around the time that she makes a fool of herself on Twitter. She attacks people. She says she's right. Like she even pitched the conspiracy theory during this one that James Gunn is going to change who he chooses as an actor because she leaked it.
Are you serious?
Yeah, as if she has the power to control what a major blockbuster film casts as their actor.
Wait, did this all happen on Twitter or is this a video?
It's all Twitter. This is all Twitter.
Oh man, I was like, if there's a video, please switch the screen. I need to hear this, man.
Yeah. It's pretty crazy. I find it to be pretty crazy.
Yeah, that's insanity. I don't. She does not have the power to move the needle. But again, man, she must make a fairly good living for herself though doing this, because that's another person that keeps their studio production very, very, very like, you know.
Well, she was rich going in, and so you know, and so her parents will cover her even if she fails at this.
Man, it just makes you want to go spit in your parents' face, like, why didn't you get me the money? Why didn't you give me the money?
Yeah, Campion needs to fix his face. It's just weird looking. That's exactly why I never really gravitated toward this guy.
See,
Campion's
that's the problem. If you were sitting next to him on a podcast, Mantis, you wouldn't be able to refute anything. You just sit there and be like, I don't like the way your face looks. Everything you said is correct, but I don't like your face.
I was like, what is going on with your nose? Pascal isn't in the suit this season. Come on, you know he acted like a child. He's a bitch. It's because he was filming Last of Us, so he only did voice work. That makes total sense, right?
Yeah. Yeah, this
and also, she did say it would happen halfway through season 2. She did say that.
She did. She absolutely did.
That. So
she did. She put a clock on that for real.
That was years ago.
That was years ago, but it's here we go again, the same thing, man. But she has a strong base, a strong following, man, and they will get out there and shill and support her no matter what the take is. And then this kind of makes James Gunn look like a bully, and I wish that wasn't the narrative. It's not like he went to her page and quote unquote attacked her. She made a claim. He's like, no, if anyone has inside track on this, I do. But then let's ask ourselves this question: how trustworthy do you think James Gunn is? Are we putting a lot of weight into his credibility and like, you know, what he will and will not do? What do you think?
I know. I honestly don't think he changed his thing because of the Grace Randolph thing. But I don't think I think he's a scumbag. I think he's as scummy as the movies he makes. And
Wow.
so yeah, and so what I'm saying is they're good movies, but you notice they're always dark, they're always twisted, they're always about scumbags.
You think that's his inner soul right there? Like
Yeah,
he's a little
right.
kid
He's throwing that
flying
right in.
around, dropping people and shit.
Yes. What was that movie? What the hell was
Brightburn.
it? Brightburn. That's the Superman he's gonna make because he doesn't know what a Boy Scout is. He doesn't have one in his soul. I'm saying, you know about what we can't say the word PEDO, can we?
You said it earlier, but I know about the allegations that
No, but also the party he went to.
Oh, I don't know anything about that. Plug me
Him
in.
and his
What's going on?
friends threw a PEDO themed party, and he dressed up like a priest. And like all the girls were dressing up like little girls, and all the guys were dressing up like creeps and perverts.
Bro, could you imagine showing up to that party? It's like, yo, I'm going over to James's house. We get there, and I'm like, I'm gonna grab some food, maybe a couple of drinks out the fridge, and we're gonna get out of here. Right?
Yeah,
Like, there's no reason for us to stay here because if they're doing that, I guarantee someone's showing up in blackface.
Yeah, he is total. Here's what I'm saying. Once again, YouTube. I'm not accusing him of this, but I just feel like he's the type to do blackface or to hang out with people in blackface. He's totally the type. Look at him. Just take a look at him. And then also one of the guys who threw the party with him, because that was a couple years back.
Allegedly.
One of the guys actually was convicted for messing with an underage person. So it just makes you think, man. And I'm just like, yo, what is up with this dude?
Yeah, man, it's strange stuff, man. I'm almost to the place where I want to believe that the new DC universe is DOA on arrival, but I still have some hope, man. And in fact, weird thing we didn't talk about, man. I know we're switching it from James Gunn, but we can jump back and forth wherever you want to go. The fact that Tom Cruise went to go see the Flash movie and apparently loved it.
Oh, I love that. I'm a big Tom Cruise fan.
Say again?
I'm a big Tom Cruise fan.
So as am I.
And so I love that he did that. I love that he's 50 and he's still hip enough to be like,
yeah, this
was a good superhero movie. It looks so good. It looks so good. I know everyone's hating on him because of Ezra. Trust me, I hate Ezra more than anyone. I want to see Ezra fail and end up in prison. I absolutely do. But then after I saw the trailer,
this movie comes out,
after I pay $25 to see this in IMAX.
Yeah, it looks amazing. And, you just brought up Tom Cruise being 50 and still being tapped in, unlike Martin Scorsese, who completely doesn't understand what film is. His biggest critique about the MCU is like, it's more of an experience, a theme park experience, right? And I sat back and I thought about that for years, and I've come to a conclusion recently. Don't we go to movies for an experience? Isn't my $20 worth me having a great experience? Yes, I want that shit to be like a theme park. I want the people to come bring me my drinks at the table. I want the whole thing to be an experience, not the experience I had when I tried to watch The Irishman when I was like, yeah, got up and walked away. I was
4 hours of nonsense, and occasionally there's like a Goodfella impersonation in there. But it was drivel. I can't stand when people they criticize that. They're like, that movie just has explosions and action, and I'm like, yeah, that's what I want to see in my movies.
Bro, you just brought up a very interesting point. I don't know if you're aware of this small community, but it's always the small communities that are the loudest who miss old school action films, and they blame the death of action film or the stall of action films for many years on the MCU and stuff like that.
Yeah, everyone, here's what it is. Everyone, it's easy to be a hater against the unstoppable force. So what MCU is, he's the good-looking quarterback. He's Tom Grady in high school, and everybody's like, look at this motherfucker. And like they're hating on him because he's successful and you know what I'm saying? Anyone who's super successful, they love to hate on. And that's what it is. But like the MCU for a while was giving us what we wanted, which was explosions and powers and weird stuff. Ari,
experience.
Yeah. Ari cued the FBI.
Ladies and gentlemen,
we got him. And Matt, I also really liked Brightburn.
I thought it was a good movie, man. Mantis just doesn't like James Gunn. So let me ask you a question. James Gunn and YouTuber X are both hanging off a cliff. You got to save one of them. Who gets it?
James Gunn, because at least he makes good movies. He makes good art, and so I'll be like, I could watch Suicide Squad 3. You know what I'm saying?
Like, James.
Yeah, get over here, James. There's nothing Grace Randolph isn't doing that I can't live without. Someone else will do a movie mouth ripoff eventually.
You know what? Though? I do love the movie math. That's my favorite show. The commentary there, I think that's her lane.
What it is she gives hardcore facts and numbers that people are too lazy to look up when they're doing their analysis.
Right.
And that's what I think she's amazing at.
Yes.
But like, for instance, her live stream, like I watched her live stream today, and it suddenly became a politically fueled rant. It was so political. It was. I wanted to reach into the screen and strangle the life out. Not that I would ever do that. I'm a feminist, damn it.
I have there are certain people I think shouldn't wade in those waters. I go to the shallow end, and depending on the topic, I'm willing to go into deeper parts and stuff like that. If the person I'm conversing with is willing to give me a chance to research whatever their points are, I'm like, yo, send me what it is you believe. Send me your best sources, just so I know I'm not misrepresenting you. I have the same feeling about her wading into political discourse as I do Jordan Peterson. Obviously, Jordan Peterson is a brilliant clinician. He's an extremely intelligent guy. He has a great understanding of social issues and able to examine social issues, right? But when he starts talking about politics and he goes on those tangents, I feel like it's a granddad up there. And I'm like, what was the original fucking point? And that's what I feel about Grace. Like when she starts getting on far left-leaning social commentary, I'm like, did anyone even invite you to the table?
Because that's what I'm here to watch. Here's what I'm saying. We are here to watch something about movie analysis.
Right.
And so it's almost like a bait and switch that I've shown up for movie math and I'm getting a rant from a rich white liberal from the Upper East Side. Tell me how hard they have it.
Every time you talk about the Upper East Side, I just remember us being kids, and when we would somehow end up over there, or if I was dating a girl from there, I'm like, I don't like this area
because you're going to get arrested just for walking down the street, man. I would feel it too.
Just that. It was just like little things that would I'm like, I gotta walk past the Met. There's no bathrooms anywhere. Everything is more expensive in these bodegas.
No reason. Like chewing gum is $5.
Huh?
Chewing gum is $5.
Exactly. It's
the way they look at you, the people on the streets look at you like you're an alien because they're from the West Side. It's like,
my gosh.
Matt asked an inappropriate question.
Oh, would you smash YouTuber
and he reads it. That's crude. We're not going to talk about crudeness on this guy. No.
Is that because we're both sober tonight, or is this not a fanboy? You're not sober.
Yeah, I've been drinking away. What do you think?
I had to take a night off after Bex's party last night. My eyes were so bloodshot when I woke up this morning. I was like, water. I need water. So bad, bro. You ready to get into your least favorite topic just for a second? I know you're an MMA appreciator. You are someone someone that enjoys MMA as a sport and an art and stuff like that. UFC, the biggest platform for mixed martial arts, their parent company just acquired the WWE. That's wrestling, for all you people who don't know. Those gentlemen running around in their underwears, jumping off things and pretending like they're going to hurt each other. So now they're going to merge into one large, huge company. And man, when this news broke, I was like, this is something I never thought in a million years would ever happen. But it is happening now, and I don't know what direction any of this stuff goes. Now, let me just be clear about what's happening. It's not going to be wrestlers coming over from the WWE, even though that's happening.
Obviously not.
It's just they're going to be under one umbrella, one large promotional company, sports company.
That's why I put John Cena on the cover, because it certainly is clickbaity to make people think he's going to be in the UFC. Yeah, it'll make people click real fast. But like, here's what it is.
When Sheldon says she probably makes weird noises, yeah, I imagine noises like, yeah, right there. Oh, yeah.
You think that when you? Oh God. Okay, do not read that comment. It is funny, Matt. We find it very funny, but we're not reading that comment. Laney says interesting. So here's what's going on with the UFC situation.
Wait, I'm sorry, Matt. That is the comment. I heard the voice in my head. I want to read it so bad, but I'm not going to. Go ahead, buddy. Go ahead.
Well, no, we're keeping it clean. We're not trying to really insult her. You know, not that she would never see this, but
no.
So here with the UFC,
Yes.
the UFC in its opening years struggled so hard for years for legitimacy.
Yes.
Remember, UFC 1 literally had guys in gis.
Yeah.
And guys dressed up like fat ass sumos fighting. And people were like, this is our fighting game. This is idiotic. It really did look like some Taibo nonsense, right? They struggled for legitimacy for all these years. They should not associate themselves with the WWE.
Right.
In my opinion, I think they should not. Even if they're going to be doing their own thing, owned by the same company. It's just crazy. Like one are athletes and the other are circus performers, basically.
Would you say that to a wrestler's face? A wrestler's face? Like, you are not a real fighter. Would you say that?
I would say you're not a real fighter. Because I think they know they're not a real fighter, but I wouldn't call them you're a circus clown. That's not something I'd say.
Yes, I don't know promotionally where they go. I don't know what this means, right, for the UFC. I know that they're going to be renegotiating the TV contract with not TV, but the streaming services, or TV contract as well with ESPN. They've had a great year publicly. They've had a great year. They've sold out multiple arenas. You know, obviously they had great pay-per-view buys this year. Some not as great as others, but this is just a weird thing to think about. Like, it literally would be the same thing if Marvel said, no, we're not buying DC. We're going to buy Valiant.
Yes. And nothing's wrong with Valiant. I like a lot of Valiant comics.
Yeah,
they do
good things. Stuff. It's just strange.
No, absolutely. It doesn't make sense. And so I think this is a bad move. What it is the problem is the guys like Vince McMahon and all these other people are looking behind closed doors and they're like, look how much money these companies make. And so we'll make one super company. It's a bad look. I'm telling you, it's going to delegitimize the UFC.
I disagree with that take. At this point, the UFC is the machine and nothing competes with it on the same level. In fact, the only company that I really think competes in regards to caliber of fights is actually One Championship, and they are, I believe, descendants of Pride, you know, the UFC's other major competitor. But some news leaked about some of their contracts for like new fighters and their show money, show purse. They paid a younger lady who's coming in to fight for them the first time. I think it's a one fight deal. Her show was $1,000. Now, people have criticized the UFC for their fighter pay, but most new fighters, don't quote me on this, but some have reported they get $13,000 to show and another $13,000 to win. So $26,000, take off whatever you get for taxes, then you got to pay your fight camp. So maybe you're walking away with $10,000, $11,000, whatever your arrangements are. I don't know how this helps any of the fighters. So that's where I want to land this conversation, right? That money they spent to purchase, and again, it's their company. They can do whatever they want. They bought a controlling stake in the WWE, 51%, and then the rest is the other 49% is privately owned. But it just seems like to me, somehow, some way, someone should have said, hey, you know, maybe before we open up the coffers, we should look at the most obvious criticism we've been facing for years in regards to fighter pay. Like, I think you build up your brand better with fighters who are happy as opposed to a bunch of disgruntled guys who are always an inch away from leaving. But they bought wrestlers. We're gonna get wrestling. I don't know what this means.
Because are they gonna do cross promotion?
No,
are they going to have the Undertaker friggin' hanging out with John Jones? Think about it. Think how bad this could go. Think about how bad this could go.
I don't think they're going to cross promote like that. It's just going to become one. The more I keep saying this, they keep saying it's going to be one company, and I'm like, what does that mean?
What does that mean? But here's what I'm saying: when one was suffering, they're going to make the other one lift up the other one. That's what they always do in other companies.
Yeah, I get it, but I don't see how legitimate fighters, legitimate warriors are going to help the wrestling numbers. And I think they just have WrestleMania, and that did wildly, extremely well. The only obvious win here, I would think, is I don't think ESPN is going to agree to have wrestling on their channel, but the UFC does still have Fight Pass, which is their own streaming source where they do kickboxing, Muay Thai. I believe they're going to start doing boxing, jiu-jitsu, and stuff like that. I can see them start doing some wrestling stuff on Fight Pass.
What I would have rather the UFC do is own a boxing league and then also own a catch wrestling league.
Yes.
And actual real competitions. And I'd rather see that. I would watch the hell out of that. But like I don't understand. I don't see it being good that they're being connected.
So well, here's one thing that you and Shaolin are gonna like about one championship. So they actually do things like that. Like they'll have on a card, they'll have a kickboxer versus an MMA guy. So the first round will be straight Muay Thai or straight kickboxing, and then it switches to MMA, and it's actually very interesting. And they host they will have on the main card 2 jiu-jitsu players going against each other, high level stuff. I just don't know. I don't know where this is going.
actually, this sounds weird. This is going to sound weird, but there's actually times that I wish, because here's what I'm saying. You can watch kickboxing or boxing for striking to get your striking jobs. You can watch UFC for the whole thing. I would really like to see professional catch wrestling just wrestle, no striking, and just see who can out wrestle each other. That would be I would watch the shit out of that, actually.
No, grappling affairs like that are always amazing, especially if you respect the art form of grappling. I'll send you some links to some stuff that you might enjoy.
I mean, are there any professional leagues?
Yeah, there are. Chael Sonnen has been a long advocate of that. But yeah, I'll send you some links to some great stuff. But we'll see where this whole thing is going. The world is going upside down really quick, Mantis.
My man. I literally came up with a theory the other day when I was like going to work. I'd have a long commute, and I'm like thinking, I was like, I honestly think when I was in grade school, I remember a time that I got a concussion. I hit my head.
Okay.
I was in the wood park on 79th.
Oh yeah.
I jumped from one wooden thing to another, and I hit my head, and I hit the ground. Rushed to the hospital, had a concussion. I honestly believe I'm in a coma. And that all these years have just been some deluded nightmare.
Right.
And all because we live in a world where like up is down, down is up. The worst humans are the most professional and make the most money. The most the most talented and the people with the best hearts make nothing. The politics makes no sense. The world makes no sense. The relationship between men and women make no sense. It's all downhill. It's all madness. So I believe that I'm having a fever dream right now.
So wait, let me get this straight. You're egotistical enough to believe that we are all players and you're a fever dream.
Well, I met you after that head concussion, so yeah, you are a delusion. You're a
dream. Here's the crazy thing, man, is you have been talking to an empty block this entire time. There's no one else here. That's why people always look at you so weird, and they're like, "So who's Steve?" But
I'm like, he's a hold up TV.
Yeah, I want to throw some randos out there because I know that, like I said, the fans aren't here for UFC talk. We do have to talk about. I don't know why this happened. I don't know why it's a thing. I don't know who asked for it. I assume somewhere some Cheeto Puff eating, dust on his belly, living in his basement, psychopath. But Spawn and Batman had another crossover in the comics.
Do you see what I'm talking about? Nothing makes any sense anymore.
And it was such a bizarre thing. I wanted to hit you and Matt up about it and be like, why do people keep letting Todd McFarlane do this? Like, why does he keep?
He's considered a god. Like, people really look up.
Really? I didn't know he still had that much pull in the industry.
The last time I was at Comic-Con, it was only like 2 years because I didn't go to the last one, but I went to 1 year before that. He had a panel where it wasn't a Q&A. So sometimes there's like a panel where it's just one celebrity and someone asking them questions. It was just him.
Okay.
On a mic saying whatever he wants. And he was telling all these stories. The place was jam-packed. The line to get in there was jam-packed. He's just a legend. So they let dudes like that in industries. He's like one of those untouchable legends.
Wow. So people asked for this. You're saying that people wanted this?
Yeah. And I got to say, the dumbest thing I've ever seen was when he started bragging about how he made Venom.
Oh,
he's like, and he was like, yeah, I invented Venom. I just remembered I wanted the symbiote suit to come back, and I was like, he's got to be big. He's got to be twice as big as Spider-Man. And boom, I made Venom. And I was like, please don't tell me that's how you made Venom. Please tell me there was more thought process into making Venom.
Here's something, Matt. You just made me think about something. I haven't heard anything from Sony in a while. I know we got the Spider-Verse coming out here pretty soon. Into the Spider-Verse, right?
Well, they got a bunch of dumb movies coming out.
No, but other than that, what else do they have on? Like, I don't.
They're making every Spider-Man side character a fucking movie.
What? Is any of this actually happening though? Like, has anything gone into production? Is it in pre-production?
The freaking Madam Web movie is in production, and so is the Craven movie.
Oh my goodness! Which is not a Craven movie, by the way. I'm sorry to upset you again, but it's like it's a movie about Craven, but he's not really Craven.
Are you kidding?
No, I'm not kidding.
They are gonna smash it all to pieces. Yo, real quick, Matt says I really miss Billy Blanks. Guess what? I never miss him. You know why? I see him every spring.
Really?
When the spring comes out, like to work out, I'll go to my local tennis court, which no one ever uses. No one plays around here. And I'll set up my cell phone, and I'll play a Billy Blanks video, and I'll just do Tybo.
I thought you were going to say you went into the rich part of your area, the Whole Foods, and Billy Blanks is there.
Now that would have been a story worthy of a live stream. Shaolin says some of them are legit collegiate wrestlers, grapplers, and martial artists. It's scripted, but I'm not fighting some of them. Oh, I mean, the big ones I'm definitely not fighting.
So you fight the 1, 2, 3 kid. What was his name? You remember that guy? Would you fight Razor Ramon? You remember Razor Ramon?
Oh yeah, I'd fuck him up.
Just passed away recently. I forgot his real name.
This is all going over my head. I don't follow any of this close enough. Yeah, I feel you. Matt says, I love Todd McFarlane. I love when Batman and Spawn fight. You remember when Batman hit Spawn in the face and he
had to sew his face up? Matt, that's still in continuity with the Spawn comics. He never recovered from that. That lace stayed in his face for the remainder of the days.
Actually, and this is one thing I do respect about. There's many things I respect about Todd McFarlane. I love his art. I love that he decided to go into toys and making all these toys and making all these really detailed, like about the McFarlane toys,
collectibles and not toys.
But when Image first started, it was a joint universe. But almost no one was respecting that. No one wanted to really have their characters. And so occasionally, Todd McFarlane would be like, well, Spawn's going to guest star in this and this and this.
Yeah.
And he would have ramifications. For instance, Chapel from Youngblood is the trigger man who killed him.
Right.
And he kept that true throughout the run.
Yeah.
And I respect the shit out of that, because if you want to look at Wildcats, you look at the Savage Dragon, no other character that someone was working on had anything to do with his characters.
No, everything that happened to Spawn always stayed the same. Even did you ever read, not the conclusion, but basically the conclusion of Spawn when it was Spawn versus Satan and God? I'm not going to spoil it. That is probably some of the best writing I've ever seen in that comic, because it gives Al Simmons such an interesting arc. I think Matt already knows what I'm talking about. Like, we all look at Al Simmons as a guy who was a murderer, but he got, he caught a raw deal. By the end of the run, you're like, oh man, okay, that's an interesting turn. And it was good. It was very good, the conclusion. You check it out someday.
Maybe I should, to be honest, I should get graphic novels. I'm sure they're collected now of the entire run.
You can buy the whole thing.
Wildcats, I loved them. Damn, Mantis.
Remember the Wildcats cartoon?
So I didn't love that, but I will say this, guys. Actually, here's something you need to know about your fat Mantis. I was an Image supporter way longer than it's appropriate to be. I read Supreme. I read Wildcats. That's how I got into Authority. Authority originally Wildcats. Not Wildcats. Was originally Image and then Wildstorm and all that stuff. And into the 2000s, I was still reading Image comics.
Well, because they put out a lot of decent stuff, man. There was some great arcs in it, especially when you're talking about Supreme, man. That was a very interesting story. And then, of course, you got Invincible. The Invincible universe is amazing. Speaking of which, what the hell's going on there, man?
Where is the next season? I have no fucking. It feels like forever since I've watched an episode of Invincible.
I made it through a whole Lord of the Rings series without fucking hearing anything about Invincible, which, by the way, I tried to go back and watch recently. Made it through like the first 2 episodes, and I was like, I'm good. I'll wait till the next season.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I can. Not because it was, I was just like, I don't need to do this again. There was nothing I missed that was like terribly important. It's bad enough I'm not caught up on Game of Thrones, and I still haven't watched episode 5 of The Mandalorian, which apparently is amazing. I'm gonna watch it tonight, and I'm gonna watch your review. I assume that you enjoyed it because you didn't text me and say anything negative about it. Haven't concluded The Last of Us, man. This is the thing that sucks about having a square job and having to work. I have very little time.
Tell
to do
me
things I
about
love.
it, bro. Ham. Tell me about it. Oh my god, it's the worst. But oh man, I could go on and on about how much I love Wildcats and how much I love, good Image. Obviously, you have to, like, for instance, Youngblood. Youngblood always sucked. There was never a good run of Youngblood.
Too many fanny packs. Every time I think about Youngbloods, I think of fake Shatterstar. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just
And so the core team of Youngblood. Do you actually know how they were created? They were
like
originally
in the comics, or how the creators made them.
outside. So here's what it is. Everyone who joined the fight of, the revolution of Image Comics actually had characters they wanted to create. They had vision, they had passion. Rob Liefeld,
Your boy,
didn't have shit. What he did is he pitched to DC a new version of the Teen Titans.
right?
And he just when it was finally time to turn in, all the guys who were making Image were like, turn in your new heroes. He didn't have anything, so he took the picture of the new Teen Titans and he handed it in, and he just renamed them.
That's perfect.
But their original thing is a lot of them are associated with characters who already existed.
Yeah, that's perfect. That's something I would do. Like, Steve, you just handed me a Chinese menu. I'm like, but think about it.
Yeah. So you want to tell me that Die Hard isn't just Deadpool, who, let's face it, we all know was really Spider-Man?
Yeah.
Like it's all
but man, let me just look up the characters. That suit, Die Hard had a pretty baller suit, though.
Yeah. I mean, his art was fun. Matt says, yeah, because the Rings of Power was effing dog poop. Wildcats, like High School Musical Wildcats. Yes, Ari. No, obviously not the same, but I love High School Musical too, so we could talk about that if you want.
Look at this, man. What was this guy's name? Bedrock?
Oh, Bedrock, yeah. No, he had to use the word nerd Bad Rock because the Flintstones copyright would have sued him.
Right, Bad Rock.
Yeah, send it to me so I can show we can show everyone.
All right, I got you. This is outrageous. Only a madman would come up with this type of stuff.
Yeah, exactly. He was like, oh.
I just said it too.
Oh, yeah.
I'll be right back. Oh, wait, come on, man. Sorry, give me 1 second, guys. The hell is? Oh, you know what it is? This isn't a Bing. Where's the original team? Well, you know what? Let's just look at this dude right here. Sorry, my little fella fell asleep, so I had to get him nice and comfy. He was struggling over there. Here's something I've always wondered, though, in regards to like Image Comics. Who is the owner now of Image Comics? Do you know who the parent company is, and what is the state of the actual publication? Because they have Invincible. They have that one comic you put me onto where it's kind of like a darker version of the Power Rangers. What's the name of that comic, man? I started reading it. I'd never picked it back up. It's literally, you told me about it and I completely did not go back.
Darker Power Rangers? What? Give me more.
That's the best I can give you, man. They're in Xeno suits basically. They have all these dope powers. I was like, oh, this is actually pretty cool.
I don't recall. But basically, no. What's really cool, I gotta say, what's cool about Image is that they stayed alive by doing this like creators own everything,
right?
And they made this license for like creators to be like, you're gonna own all this shit. We're not gonna steal any of your shit. And so, and if you publish through Image, that is the best way to watch a creator make the most amount of money off of their comic.
That's a good point.
And
That's a
so,
good point.
And that's a good reason to support it.
Anything else on your radar culturally, stuff that's going on?
Oh yeah, we're gonna hit up something in just
Radiant Black. Are you up on? You told me about Radiant Black.
Right.
That is good stuff.
Yeah, no, they're. Oh, what the hell? Oh, wait, hold on.
What did you do? You cancel the show? What the hell, bro?
No, we're good. We are good and blammo.
Bam! Look at that. Oh, that's my childhood right there.
Yeah, that's our childhood right there. Zealous Psylocke, Spartanus Cyclops. Absolutely.
Yeah. Look at that, man.
Oh, please stand by sign.
Look at the shoulder pads.
Yo, the 90s, everyone was rocking shoulder pads.
I love that this dude has arrows that aren't on a string. It's amazing.
Yeah, no, it's totally nuts. But yeah, no, they were like insane. These guys are insane.
It's insanity that people love the concept of the superpowered archer. But yeah, some of these illustrations were, I mean, yeah, it's antiquated now, dated, but back in the day, I was just blown away by the line work and the ink work. And then when I started to get to know artists, they would just point out all the things that were wrong with some of these drawings. Are like, this guy's pinky's bigger than his thumb.
Right. His anatomy was ridiculous. But however, he did know how to create like big, strong men that like it's definitely hyper stylized. Like he didn't know how to draw feet and like.
Yeah, but what was it with the BDSM like characters? Like, look at this fellow down there with the ball gags on the thing around his chest.
So this is the Iron Age of comics in the 90s. Everyone had to be edgy, and for some reason, the costumes people didn't like cloaks or capes were stupid, right?
Right.
But they would exchange them out for pouches, fanny packs, and gun holsters. People would have too many gun holsters. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, straps. Yeah, they would have mad straps. More straps. Remember the X-Men just had straps on straps.
Yeah,
and straps.
it just didn't make any sense. Everything's leather. Oh man. We're at the 1 hour 32 mark, man.
Well, there's one last thing I want to share with everybody.
Oh, what is it?
Is this the actual commercial? I'm trying to get to this whole thing. Here, I'm sure one of these people will actually play it for us. Wait, is the quartering going to play it for us?
No.
Because this is something I already brought up earlier.
What's that?
And this is stop the sharing, present. The Dylan Mulvaney becomes the mascot for. Wait, I want to discuss this because this has to do with masculinism.
Masculinity?
Yeah, masculinity. How do you feel about this idea that they got? So let's watch the first commercial.
The estimated hold time is now less than 96 minutes.
Corporate America has lost its dang mind. Shrill harpies, the women who run these HR and marketing departments, they are so out of touch with just most of the people in the country who actually buy their products. They are trying to cater and pander to this tiny minority that's very vocal on the internet, and they are just absolutely killing their brand's reputations while they're at it. So Dylan Mulvaney, the less favored girl/woman who has only been a girl for little over a year now, well, he is just collecting brand partnerships. Most recent.
Yeah, so this is Lauren Chen. Are you a fan of Lauren Chen?
I don't watch a lot of her content. I know you love her to death.
Yeah, I love her to death. So
he has appeared in a series of advertisements for Bud Light, the beer. For some reason, the people at Bud Light think that Dylan Mulvaney is a good person to promote their product.
Hi, impressive carrying skills, right? I got some Bud Lights for us. So I kept hearing about this thing called March Madness, and I thought we were all just having a hectic month, but it turns out it has something to do with sports. and I'm not sure exactly which sport.
That is a cringe
but
joke.
Either way, it's a cause to celebrate.
That is a cringy joke. Am I right? That's just like, who even writes this? What the hell is going on?
Dylan's had some work done.
So yes, Dylan is famous for having such this. You know what's crazy? Dylan hasn't had bottom surgery. Dylan still has
it's none of my business.
Package.
None of
However,
my business.
Dylan had work done to his face to make himself look more like a woman.
Interesting.
But it didn't get rid of the prick.
More of a common occurrence. There's a whole conversation around who bottom surgery is appropriate for and the decision to make it. Not waters I delve into because they ain't got shit to do with me.
Look, I don't have the right.
This is fucking crazy, man. Like, did they do a test sample on this before they like? Because when I see Bud Light, not to generalize, but I guess I have to make the statement. A certain type of person pops into my head, and I see a long flowing mullet. And I see a white wife beater on, maybe some camo pants. You know, they're wearing Converse.
Do you think that person is going to love this new mascot?
It's obviously going to resonate with them. It's obviously going to resonate with them.
Like, Matt also loves Lauren Chen. This dude doesn't drink beer. He's not he's not manly enough to drink beer. That is funny, and that's what we're discussing right here in this segment.
Right.
Is it a macho thing? Should they always have a macho?
Well, I mean, so typically you don't see a lot of macho stuff in beer commercials. Actually, you see the opposite. You see a lot of scantily clad dressed women. Traditionally, and especially for Bud Light and stuff like that, it's like the chicks on.
Do you remember what
beach.
Budweiser ads used to be when we were kids?
Oh man, it's just like boobs everywhere.
Yeah, it was, but it was always like a dude, and he would have beer, and there's a bunch of bikini chicks on the beach, and they'd come hang out with him because he brought the beer, and so now we're watching this.
This month, I celebrated my day 365 of womanhood, and Bud Light sent me possibly the best gift ever, a can with my face on it. Check out my Instagram story to see how you can enjoy March Madness with Bud Light and maybe win some money too. Love ya! Cheers! Go team! Whatever team you love, I love too.
What is happening right now? What is happening?
Is this nuts? Like you said, the world is going nuts. Is this totally insane?
Wait. Let me hear Homegirl's commentary on it. Oh, it's still going. What is happening? Why? Is this an actual commercial? Like, is this going to be on like CBS or Fox?
They're internet commercials. They'll be appearing.
Okay. This was like a safe move for them on the internet, so maybe they do understand who they're targeting.
Sorry, are you still there?
Yes.
Okay, please hold.
What is this back? What's with the please hold stuff? What am I hearing right now?
To be clear, the geniuses over at Bud Light think that the best way to get people to want to buy their beer is by having this man who's had surgery to try to look like a woman, but who still has very clear 5 o'clock shadow, hold their beverage while dancing in a bathtub wearing a bra, which, by the way, Dylan, life pro tip here, that's not how women actually take baths. And it's just very strange to see someone who doesn't have breasts wear a bralette. And to anyone saying, hey, Lauren, I think you just got fooled by some April Fool's prank. I doubt Bud actually tried to partner with this person. No, this is painfully real. So real, in fact, that on his social media, Dylan also posted this image showing a personalized can with his face on it. In the caption, this wasn't on my bingo board, but it's now my most prized possession. # Bud Light partner. So obviously, in light of them just bowing down to the crazy trans agenda, I will advise all of you to stop buying Bud Light. But the thing is, I don't know who at this point is even buying Bud Light at all. Who is left to boycott this brand? Who is still supporting this beverage? I don't understand. And while I would love to say that Bud Light is
Very
an
popular
anomaly
game.
here, sadly,
Yeah.
they
Oh,
are
I'm sure.
not. There is a growing list of companies out there who are eager to get on Dylan's social media feed in order to prove to the world how accepting and progressive they are. We're going to be looking at some of the worst contenders, brands who, if I were you, I would no longer support with my dollars. But first, I do want to say a quick thank you to a brand you should support with your
So
dollars.
real quick. So you know who's coming up in this? Dylan. And then it begs the question: is Dylan a true believer in the things that Dylan believes? Right? Does Dylan really believe in these issues, or is this
Or
just
is
a
this
bag chasing person
a
that's like
grift?
capitalizing? You know what I'm saying?
And let's face it, if any one of us were offered the sponsorship of Bud Light, we would take it.
In a second.
And if they told us to ham up what we do, like our characters, the Fat Mantis, the Hold Up TV, we would.
Oh, absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
So I can't really blame Dylan on this one. I do think I would say, and here's what I'm saying: it's really none of my business the surgeries people get, but I feel almost lied to when I find out that like Caitlyn Jenner and Dylan and all the most famous trans people don't even get bottom surgery.
Okay, keep it in share mode right now because you're bringing up something that usually would come up on a fanboy after dark, but since we're doing it now, I got time. There's this conversation going around because of another internet personality, or I guess an IG personality, a trans woman, who stated today that she does not disclose unless she really likes the guy, right? And then there's another video. I don't know if we talked about this last week, where Kevin Gates, a very popular hip hop artist or a very popular mainstream rapper, may have just gotten outed by a trans person for having coitus with them. And they did not disclose until he was in the midst of doing a certain act on them. And then he asked, "Can I ask you a question? Are you a trans woman?" And it brings up this insane conversation right now. So I get what you're saying about like the bottom surgery, but this is actually something that people are discussing. And you could experience some very real life consequences if you say out loud, yes, you must disclose, right? You must disclose either post-op or pre-op if you are in fact a trans individual. I'd be interested to hear what the audience has to say about it. I can send you, did I send you the Kevin Gates thing yet?
No. I'd love to put it on now.
Okay.
So the whole thing is I've seen a bunch of TikToks where people are like, it's nobody's business, even someone you're getting with. You're gonna try to have a relationship with someone and not tell them you're trans. That's insane.
Exactly.
That is utterly insane. Ari says Dos Equis is the only thing I think of a manly face mascot. There we go. Is Dylan bathing on Bud Light? Maybe.
that honestly, man, that is going to haunt me. That is the strangest ad campaign ever.
And that's the thing. Why do I have to be exposed to this?
You don't.
But I'm saying they're putting it in ads, and ads are kind of hard to avoid, right?
Oh yeah,
So like, why are they doing this to me?
They hate you. I thought that was clear. Apparently, Kevin Gates has responded to it. It looks like the video may have gotten pulled down, so maybe some implications there. I might have to play someone else's video for us to get that. Let's see if I can find one where we can jump right into it.
Let's see what
a sponsor, Patriot Gold. So market and
I'm going to skip over her sponsor
life, Patriot Gold,
because they don't sponsor us unless they want to.
Current events commentator, but I guess that is being a social media influencer in some respects. So let me tell you, sponsorships aren't easy to come by because there are a lot of people out there trying to make it in this sphere. And when you get to huge nationwide international brands like Bud Light, that competition for those sponsorships is even harder because those brands have so much money and just everybody basically wants to work for them. And the hard truth of the matter is that those brands try really hard not to do anything controversial. So much so that people like me, people like Candace Owens, we would very much be deemed too controversial for those brands to work with.
Cisphobic.
On the internet, and those brands, don't want to start some kind of social media boycott by appearing to sign off on our views. However, that list of too controversial views clearly does not apply to the progressive belief that a woman is whoever identifies as a woman, and that, hey, kids should be able to get surgeries and hormones in order to transition their genders, because that's exactly what Dylan Mulvaney stands for. And it seems like I don't know, most huge brands out there are absolutely okay with that. As I mentioned, it's not just Bud Light that's wanting to work with Dylan. It's also brands like, as Ollie London has mentioned, Walmart, Ulla Henriksen, a skincare brand, KitchenAid, Aritzia, clothing brand, MAC, Tampax, and Native. We are living in an era where Candace Owens is too controversial for brands like Walmart. Dylan Mulvaney, who is a man that always carries tampons around because reasons, that is not too controversial. In fact, that's actually good. That's brand friendly. That's
Isn't that insane?
That is absolutely insane, bro. That is 100% insane.
That's what I'm saying. We are living in the dark timeline, man.
The up is down, down is up.
It's supposed to be at the time spot that you
yeah, it should. I clicked that. We'll see what happens here.
Right. But that's the one we want, right?
Yeah.
DJ Academics reacts to trans women.
I think, yeah, it's right there.
Really like the life that they've had. That like, okay, so I DM'd him, I like go on my little sprees.
Okay.
I'll like, what I do is I'll go and like drink. And I'll see who he's following and just DM every single hot guy I see with a blue check mark. And hoping that just pays my bills one day. Because shit.
What?
He and my penthouse are not going to pay itself.
Okay, whether you're trans or not, that's loose.
Yes, man.
That is loose ass behavior. And girls, women, I'm sorry, I said girls, I meant women. Don't be like this person. Don't do that. Don't go on Drake's Instagram and just start hitting up every blue checkmark mail he knows, hoping that someone's gonna hit that and pay your bills.
And for you thirsty dudes checking your inbox for this type of stuff, shame on you, man, because you might find yourself in a situation like this, bro. Straight up.
And so I DM'd him and he was like, yo, like I think he was like in Atlanta. I was like, I'm not like, so he came and he was like, let's go to dinner. And I was like, okay, like I'm an independent woman. So like, I'll call my own fucking Suburban. It's fine. Went to Mastro's and I was like, am I going to get like shot or like gutted like a fish? Like I was like scared because, like the experiences that I've had and the people in LA are so beyond. Like it's crazy because people in like Iowa and like small towns, like think everything's so wholesome and like celebrities just like stay home. No, they're like out at restaurants every single fucking night, Monday through Sunday, not taking care of their kids and
as I expected them to do.
and like
Always
looking for somebody to like write off or like cut off or like kill. I don't know. And so I was like, oh God, like what am I getting myself into? And he sat down, he had like 4 phones. He was saying like El Chapo was watching me. And I was like, okay, like cool. He had a boat.
A gang or was
No, Chapo.
Okay, I'm just gonna say that she is totally extra. Like I can't even follow everything she's saying because she's just rattling off crazy shit. She's just saying crazy shit.
It's gonna get crazier. It's gonna get absolutely crazier.
Ari says she's scared, but yet is the one that sent that DM. Yes. She put herself in that situation. So
Is it again? I'm like, what is El Chapo?
Okay, baby.
Just smile and nod.
No, are they all
okay.
trans?
It's a good thing
Are they
to
all
do,
trans?
not
Or just
I assume that the two with
And it was
long
just one of those
hair are-
situations where I
don't know
almost felt like I was like
right there.
at like lunch with or like in trouble with my principal. Like I felt like he was literally looking so deep into like my soul and my like 9 different holes that like I didn't even know what I was getting into. I tried caviar for the first time.
what the fuck? What are we putting on our show right now?
Bro, this is, Kevin Gates came out and responded to it, and this is not the first time this person, I forget this person's name, they have said something about like, an artist being into them and then exposing them. So it's like, man, it's crazy. But the faces you're making now will only get worse if we watch this entire video. It's like a slow car wreck.
This is a very good question. Matt says, how could he not tell? Look at her Adam's apple. And so that's the question. Why does Dylan Mulvaney not have one? Why don't more men see them? You know what I mean? Like, what is the deal with that?
I love that you shorted out to you like, why?
You have to understand this is hard for me. This is hard for me to stop.
Keep going. Don't waste no time, man. Wicked hands.
Cute.
Wicked hands.
It was hot. And then I was telling him earlier, like it's crazy that like I have experiences with people or I hook up with people and then my brain just like I think teaches myself to like forget, or I have dementia. I don't know.
Academics face.
Okay, I've got an edit. His face the entire time has been nuts. I've got an etiquette question, and it's going to come off as rude and crude and disgusting.
Okay, go ahead.
And so, if you are approached by by a trans person,
Right.
and you want to hook up with them, is it inappropriate to ask what's down there?
I think it's inappropriate they would say it's inappropriate for a quote unquote cis male to ask that question, but I believe, I can't put this on fact, I think it's something that's commonly asked when they're in their quote unquote safe spaces. Like they will ask each other that. Actually, I'm almost positive I've seen them lauding this around on TikTok. Like it's something that it's okay for them to ask, you know.
But I don't know. Yeah, this is what I don't understand. It's all right for you want me to stick it somewhere, but you don't even feel close enough to me to answer what you have to stick.
Well, see, this is the thing, man, and this is what the conversation is about. And I'm sorry to slam my hand on the desk for the echo that caused, but I have dated women who've wanted me to disclose if I'm in a relationship with another woman, right? I've dated women who've wanted me to disclose if I had a criminal past, any STDs, anything like that. And this is
all of those sound like fair.
Yeah, proper decorum in dating, right? So the question then becomes, why is it improper for that to be disclosed? Because here's the thing. You want someone to accept you, but you're not giving them the opportunity to accept you for who you are. You're asking them to accept you on face value, and then, hey, let me tell you who I am. And that just doesn't jive with the entire worldview being presented here. And to Matt's comment about the Adam's apple, that wasn't just a dead giveaway. It's the extraness that Mantis pointed out, right? It's the appropriation of certain characteristics and certain linguistic terms and mannerisms of a woman. And it's like, who is this? That would have given it away. But if that's not enough, how about the hands? Right? You know what I'm saying? So there's a question of, was Kevin Gates allegedly duped into a situation, or did he just kind of, show up high off the perkies or on the Xannies and saying like, hey, today's the day?
A friend of mine ruined older women for me.
Okay.
Is that what he said is he was pointing out, he's like, no matter how beautiful they are, if you want to know how old they are, look at their hands. Their hands still age normally.
That wasn't me, was it?
No. It was a student in Virginia, and I remember at the time I happened to be talking to an older woman, and every time I would talk to her, we were in a conversation, I'd have to look down at her hands, and I'd see the wrinkles on her hands, even though her face was like she did not crack. And I was like, damn it, damn it, you ruined this for me.
She's got granny hands while she's touching you. You're like,
Yeah.
Oh God.
I wouldn't. Like one of the two.
One of the two for sure. I just don't know which. And we were in his car. He was playing me his new album. He was on Instagram Live. And in my brain, I'm like, dude, he shows me on live. And I'm like, I just know one of like the fans from Iowa, like where I'm from.
That is a dude.
Yeah, like that's a fucking male.
I don't know if you knew this.
And I was like, wait a sec. If he reads
Now
that
you
comment,
could never say that. You could never say that is a dude. But you see what I'm saying? There's a standard in which it's a comfortability thing. They can say it to each other. Continue. I just wanted to lay that out there.
Right. Yes, they're laughing now, but they would not be laughing if someone they just met said, "Hey, you're a dude." That would probably piss them off.
Be a huge issue.
now he's gonna flip his car. Like I'm scared. He was taking me to his house, like in the hills. I was like, I'm never gonna be able to call an Uber. Like, I'm dying here.
Yeah, because in the hills there's never service for anything.
Oh my god! And it wasn't like the hills. It was like insane. Like it was just far. I don't even fucking know. I blacked it out.
Okay.
And
there was no full disclosure here, so we're just
Yes, exactly.
We're going into this situation.
Why is this dude
and
dressed
he
like
didn't
a
really ask,
supervillain?
like, do you want to come home with me?
That's LA assholes.
That's how they
dude.
always are.
LA assholes are like that. They
Okay.
dress like that. That's their uniform.
You go.
Yeah, you just go. You just follow the rules.
You're
And I've
there.
always been bad with following instructions, reading rules, the whole night. And so
Gender
we get
boundaries.
there. I meet his sister, which like
Pause. Talking about the whole nine. Pause. Pause that, man. The whole nine.
Rogue Radio, and that's what I'm
kind of, like,
talking about.
honestly, I think it was his
There's this
wife.
whole
Now that like I did my
conversation
research,
about
I'm like,
appropriation, right?
I think I
And,
literally met
Here,
you.
I'll send you a video one day, man, where it's a young lady talking to a transgender woman, and she asked the young lady asked the transgender woman, like, how do you feel about appropriation? Do you support, quote unquote, a white person appropriating, saying black behaviors? And the transgender woman instantly knew where she was going. She's like, these are two entirely different issues. She's like, no, but you are appropriating what you think women are like or how we behave.
As a matter of fact, Lauren Chen, who was the person in the previous video, she calls it woman face. She's like, this is insulting to me because these people are doing woman face.
That's great.
And they're doing stereotypes of what they think a woman is. Dylan Mulvaney definitely is. Dylan Mulvaney seems like it's a total act.
It's just so that I'm not going to be able to unsee that commercial, man. And thank you. You ruined me yet again. Every time
that's what Dylan Mulvaney thinks girls do in the bath. You know what I mean? Like, that's why they're like that.
Go ahead.
Rogue said, that's not how real women talk. The F is this privileged white accent. That
is like her equivalent of the Valley Girl accent.
Oh wait, did I read Matt's or did I just put it up?
No, you didn't read it.
That biatch looks like one of the Wayans brothers from with a white face on. For those, what was the course? Or was the show
White
the
Chicks,
movie?
White Chicks.
Oh
man, that's another movie you could not make, man. White Chicks and Tropic Thunder could not release those movies today.
Could not make today.
Wife, but you introduced me as her sister. I don't know. He's all about like energy, like ashwagandha, like the whole nine. Honestly, and I told him I was trans, like mid, like spread eagle, like flap scars and all. Like
how did you bring that?
Honestly,
up?
I was
mid. What?
Yeah.
Academics need him in a minute.
He lost his headphones, I think. Oh no, did he have them on? You gotta check to see, make sure the stream's still live at this point.
Yeah.
Before we get any further, man, this shit's disturbed my spirit right now. Let me just.
The Book of Psalms. Psalm 23. A Psalm of David. The Lord is my shepherd. I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He restoreth my soul. He leadeth me in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil.
No evil.
For thou art with me.
Skip ahead.
Thy rod and thy staff.
I
they
thought you
comfort
needed
me.
some religious
instructions, reading, rules, the whole nine. And so we get there. I meet his sister, which like could have like honestly, I think was his wife. Now that like I did my research, I'm like, I think I literally met your wife, but you introduced me as her sister. I don't know. He's all about like energy, like ashwagandha, like the whole nine. Honestly, we fucked. And I told him I was trans, like mid, like spread eagle, like flap scars and all. Like
how did you bring that?
Honestly,
up?
I was
what?
Yeah.
I mean, I've been in that situation. I've been in that situation a few times where it's just like, oh God, like,
She felt
oh no, like
the energy was
she's like
on.
ready to go. She's like, I'm so. She's like,
This dude is so creepy. Look at that guy, man. He's like,
he really does look like he's the first creep ever born. Like he's gonna molest everybody on the set at the end of this because they've probably been drugged already by him. But so this is a question. This is a question for everybody. You're in the middle of coitus,
the beast at two backs,
and then your partner says, "By the way, I'm trans." How'd you feel about that? And that's what I think is like, I do admit that like what Matt said has a lot of validity. He's like, how could he not possibly know? Yeah, absolutely. But the mere fact that they didn't have that conversation before something happened.
In the immortal words of a rapper, but wait, it gets worse. Keep going, keep going.
I'm like, he's like, no, you're not. No, oh my God, you guys kill me. But no, I was literally, I'm not kidding. Like spread eagle, I think me out or something, and then in my brain he like stopped, and I'm like,
Bumbo clot, no start, no. No.
So in case you didn't know what this
No,
person
no,
just said, he was
no.
going down on her.
Right.
And
I think
she-
everyone heard that.
Okay, yeah.
Um,
This is like,
I mean, I feel like I have questions too, but like, am I ignorant when I ask these questions?
no, I think these are appropriate questions. I can't answer them for you, man. This is like
So I've got a question about like the surgery and the reconstruction.
okay.
Do they feel
I
stuff?
don't know.
Like what? Like my question is like, if they're not feeling anything because they don't actually have that, what would be the point of eating them out?
I don't know, man. I know Kevin Gates is a wild boy, man. I know that for sure. That I know, man. He's one of these very sexually liberated, quote unquote, type of guy, man. So I'm leaning towards where the Pink Princess is probably leaning. Like, if this is what you're into, Kevin, listen, man, just say that, but don't. I can't answer these questions for you. I don't know how the anatomy works. It's like Impossible Burgers. I don't understand the science behind that, or imitation crab meat. I don't understand it, so I'm not gonna look it up.
Yeah, I don't know how we get to the moon, but you say you can do it. That's great. Okay, so he was down there.
No. Fuck.
Oh, Rogue Radio revealing some science.
They chop it off, tuck it in, and keep the nerve for the pleasure. No
Lord.
filter on it. Okay. So there is a nerve there that will.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
Okay. So the Mantis, I'm growing, I'm learning.
You're learning.
Expanding my mind. You know what I mean? I'm sorry if anyone finds me offensive in my ignorance. Yeah, we see him flipping out. Let's get back.
Oh,
I stopped.
he knows my clit looks different. Like fuck. Like I was like fuck. What's
there's no
happening?
way
He was
he's
like,
taking a breath.
yeah, no, he's not out of breath that quick. Let me get this man an oxygen tank. But he was like, can I ask you something? And I go, yeah. And he was like, are you trans? And I go, and I was just
like,
I was so drunk. Like,
come on.
They're like,
What gives you that idea?
And and I was laying there and I go, you caught me. And he literally was like, baby, I don't give a fuck. God raised all of us equal, all this stuff. And I was like, that makes you so much more attractive, and that makes you so much more like honestly manly and hot.
There is no way he said that. There is 0% chance he said that. The second part.
I want to give a disclaimer for all you ladies in here right now. This person's going to say something that could be potentially triggering because this is another hot button topic in regards to this whole thing. So you've been given the warning. It's coming right now. Mantis is going to make a statement, but I want you ladies to listen to what this person says next.
Just saying the statement they just made. I think there's 0% chance it's real.
Oh yeah, no, it's cap. I think it's cap.
Yeah, here it goes. So the trigger warning is out there. Let's go.
Like that you know that I had to work harder and pay more than all these other fucking crusty dusty bitches with like stinky.
Okay,
and so that was that, and then he ended up.
Yes, that's the shit that's like. I don't know. I feel like there are probably going to be some females up in arms about this. So she just said that I think it's so sexy that he understands that I work so much harder to maintain, her genital area versus these other B words and their nasty, stinky, crusty, vagines. And if there are any ladies that have any comments on that, because this has come up before. There was another video we played here on I don't know if it was on here or on Dope Dynamics, RIP Dope Dynamics, where a trans woman alluded to, not even alluded to, basically said the same exact thing and then started getting down on women. But yeah, so
I remember that. I actually remember that episode. That's disgusting. And also, if they're trying so hard to be a woman, how dare they insult women?
There it is.
How dare they? Princess Beck says, nah, he probably said that.
Kevin Gates is a wild boy, man. Any dude that walks up to you at a festival and he's got a feather braided into his hair, he's probably on some wild shit.
I'll tell you this before we read Matt's comment. You can always tell when someone's adding the cap, right?
Yeah.
And so the other day, one girl was saying or telling the story of her breakup, and she's like, and we were just happy, and then 1 minute he just walked out on me, and he was like, "I'm done here," and I was crying. I said, "Baby, what's the problem?" And he looked me in the eyes and he said, "I don't love you, and I have never loved you." And I think to myself, I'm like, "There's no fucking way a dude said that." There's no way anybody fucking said that during a breakup. That is her exaggeration to vilify this man in her story.
Yeah. That was. I would suspect that was her filter.
Just like there is no way that dude said, "Nah, you keep it better than any woman." Thank God, I like you better than any woman.
No, well, she didn't say that he said that. She's saying that it makes her that this person feels like that makes him more sexy because he appreciates that. What he said was God made us all equal, and it's all good. That's what this person is claiming he said.
It's just I don't know. they're up on their own shit. Wait. How did he not notice was all the puss coming out of her cooch wounds? I can't believe I just read that. We are gonna get banned. We're gonna end up on Rumble whether we like it or not. You're gonna in the next episode. We're gonna be on Rumble, and you're gonna say, "Well, Mantis, you wanted to be on Rumble.
We're on Rumble." That's why we're going to Kick. That's why we're going to Kick. Right now, Kick is in a place where you're allowed. They haven't really dictated their terms of service, so it's still the wild, wild west over there. So if you go over there looking for us,
we can
be warned if you go on any other streams. There's some hard R's flying around on Kick right now.
Wow. We're ready. Simply put, it's not a real Barbie pocket. Barbie pocket. I love that phrase. I'm going to use it forever. F that noise. P is the best, and this dude and his pus-filled wound can't compare. I would agree. I'm going to actually agree. I mean, I absolutely agree right now.
That goes without saying.
It feels real good when
Matt's going in tonight. Matt is going in.
I see that there's a lot of strong opinions on this right now.
Yeah.
And, the chat is feeling it basically.
Yeah.
That's why
Like
they're
blocking me because he needed a tour bus connect, and I was like, I don't have that, and so I thought he was kidding. And I hung up on him. Yeah, I think I'll marry him one day. I think he's my love.
Right, and
Not
that's
after
pretty much
this.
the
I'm
end of
not
the
making
video
it to
there.
my fucking
But
wedding.
yeah, there's this whole before if anyone catches this and they're thinking that we're saying anything anti-trans. No, in actuality, the question is, and I would pose this to anyone from the trans community: what is the point of disclosure? What are you comfortable with? What is the where's the conversation? Because what the easy thing would be to do is to say we're sitting up here saying anti-trans stuff. No, I just wanted to see give an example of. Was this person in the wrong in this scenario from not disclosing out the gate? And I guess if this is true, it didn't matter to Kevin Gates. So, it's just a whole conversation.
Yeah. At what point? The question is that I have is at what point do you chime me, your potential lover, into who you are and what's going on?
Absolutely.
And why is there an attitude that it's okay to lie to me about this?
I do. Well, the argument, the rebuttal would be for safety issues, right? So, okay, I could see how you can make that argument, but here's the thing: like, if this is
wait, actually explain that,
like,
because I think I know what you mean, but I want to hear you.
Yeah. So the obvious rebuttal would be disclosure puts a person in danger of some type of retribution. So I guess we would have to break that down into some scenarios, situations. Like if you're on a dating app. Should you disclose on the dating app before there's actual physical contact?
Yes. Yes, actually, I think I've said the story before, but on OkCupid, there was someone who was hitting me up, and I looked at their pictures and I looked at their stats, and they were like, woman, unmarried, straight, like all the stats are there. But there's a section where you can say whether you're trans or not, and they chose not to.
Yeah.
And I just said in the email, I said, they hit me up. They started the conversation. I said, are you trans? And they're like, I don't like to talk about that, but yes, I am. And I'm just thinking, I'm like, and I didn't call them. I didn't, there's no reason to have a fight with them about that. But there's a section where they can click a box to do that.
Right.
And they chose not to.
And it sounds like you were pretty cordial in the response. Like,
actually, I got a lot of flack on Facebook. I think it was Facebook. It was one of these apps.
Yeah, you
But
caught hell on Green Room for that too. I remember you told the story the first time.
yeah. And so I remember it said, "Is it impolite to ask someone if they're trans on a dating site?" And a bunch of people started flipping out on me, acting like I'm anti-trans for asking the question. I mean, like, what?
Beck says it's giving dumb ways to die, but yeah, that's the most obvious response that they do not disclose
for safety. And so this is what I want. I'm sorry, this is what I want to say.
Yeah.
But what that concept is, and once again, this is more man hating. It's under the idea that men are all violent animals, and as soon as they meet somebody who's trans, they're gonna want to kill them, which is also a fucking lie. I'm sorry for cursing, but we're not allowed to say that trans people are mentally ill. However, they're implying that all men are violent, which in my opinion is mentally ill.
Yeah.
That if anyone is like, if you meet someone in a bar and they're like, I'm trans, and a man immediately does violence to them, I would say that man is crazy. Vast majority of men will not do that. Yet they like to pitch the story that we would.
Yeah, and that's the narrative, right? That's the narrative. I leave it to you fine people to debate it. My official stance is yes, if a person should, if a person has to disclose their income or their monetary net gain, their volume, what they make, and if they do drugs and shit like that on a dating app, or if they've ever been in prison, then yeah, that's on the table too.
I wouldn't even ask a woman if she has ever been in prison. Here's what I need to know.
Yeah. Well, no, that's for men. Typically, women want to know.
Yeah, it's women wanting from men.
Do you have any kids? Have you been married before?
Yeah, I want to know if they have kids. Have they ever been married? Are they currently pregnant? That sounds like a crazy thing to ask.
You gotta ask.
You actually have to drill. You have to drill about that. Are you
ask.
currently pregnant? Are you trans? I would love to know if they're an addict, but they usually won't tell you till later on. Down
until your shit's gone.
Discover.
Mantis wakes up, his mic's gone, everything's gone.
Yeah, your rent money is somehow not in your wallet. Been there. It is rough out in these dating streets. Let me tell you guys, it's rough. And now this is a new hurdle to jump over. That now I have to find a way. I have to either discern whether someone is trans, or risk offending them if I ask.
Oh man, did you have fun tonight, bud?
I always have fun.
So you got some exciting projects. I don't know if you've disclosed all of them, but you got some stuff going on, man. Some stuff that we want to make sure we're supporting. Have you disclosed to the general audience yet what's going on? Your new venture, or?
I have not.
All right, so be paying attention to Mantis, man. He's going to be bringing us.
I thought that this would be the week to launch. I don't think that relaunch season 3 of Rogue Planet.
Okay.
I'm going to be redoing format, but we're still going to be talking nerd culture, good times. It's all going to be on that. It's just not going to be an interview based stream anymore. It's going to be more scripted content, and that's about to launch. I was thinking this week, but I feel like I'm so swamped. I can't even imagine, and I think I might need another week to
just
air out all the things, like new art. I'm going to do new art and new stuff like that. Yeah, Rogue Planet's going to be amazing, guys.
That's right. And quick shout out to Pillow Talk with the Pink Princess Thursday nights on Spoon. Make sure you slide in there, and then my things will be coming out slowly but surely. But always find me here Monday nights for Fanboy Modeling School, and I think bi-weekly or every 2 weeks we do Blurs of a Feather. Mantis, myself, and the Pink Princess Bex having a lot of fun doing that show, and hopefully we'll still be on YouTube when you come around next week.
No, hopefully Rumble will have a bunch of cash to give us, and we can go restart our lives on Rumble, and we can leave the psychos for YouTube.
I really want us to make a big push on Kick while it's still safe.
Kick and Rumble are hopefully the future. Matt says, "Oh, Mantis, somebody stole your rent money." Yes. No, but I actually did get it back, because that morning, it was a one night stand, and I kept seeing her after this. It was a one night stand, and I was getting ready for work, and we're about to leave, and I pick up my wallet, and it's light, and I had a chunk of cash in there because it was rent money. Rent was due, and I was like, and I open it, and it's all gone. And then I look at her and she's like, what? And I go, and I just say, my rent money is not here. What the fuck? And I don't accuse her. But she's like, let's go. And I go, no, we're not leaving till we find it. And I start ransacking everything. I know what's up. It's obviously I'm not a fucking idiot. And then I leave my room for a minute. And later on, when I come back, it's like sitting in the corner of the room. And she's like, is that it? I was like, oh, wow, it turned up. How crazy.
Let's go get some breakfast, babe.
Yeah. So I hit it a couple more times and then it bounced.
Also,
but never back at my house. Never back at my house.
Go check out Bex's last episode on Pillow Talk. One night stands, man. We had way too much fun talking about a lot of rules to one night stands. If you folks didn't know, it's an art. It's an art. You
Right,
can't
like don't steal their rent money.
Yeah, don't steal the rent money.
So do you want to plug anything?
No. I got nothing going except for Pillow Talk this week, man. Again, I'm in the same stage as you, waiting for my new mixer to arrive.
Nice,
right?
Nice.
Switch things up.
What you get?
You will only catch me, on Spoon Thursday nights.
No, what mixer did you get?
Huh?
What mixer did you get?
I got the Rodecaster Pro 2.
There we go. There we go. You're keeping it in
the elite.
The elite. But honestly, guys, I had such a good time. So my relaunch for my shows are not happening this week, but it will be next week after all the Easter madness. That's on Mondays, brunch with the Fat Mantis in the morning, Monday mornings. Wednesday, Rogue Planet, back to Wednesday.
Yes.
Where it's supposed to be. And also just a lot of great content. Please check out my YouTube channel. I have a new video up, a Mandalorian video. Please check me out. Actually, you know what? Fuck this. I'm gonna put in the link before we go.
There you go. Drop the link.
Drop the link. Drop that link. Sorry. You have anything to say?
No, that's it, man. Y'all have a good night.
You know what? Let's just go. You guys know where to find me. Love you.
I'm sorry. That was the best exit. I'd be like, I'm gonna put in the link. I know.
Fuck it. Fuck y'all. Fuck y'all. Good night.